Welcome, everybody. How are you guys doing? I hope you've had a good week. Are you happy it's the weekend? Thank God it's Friday, huh? Things are pretty good, Scott. Thanks for asking. How are you? Yeah, thank God it's Friday. Okay, and tonight we will be starting in 1 Samuel chapter 20, and we will finish off the book of 1 Samuel and start reading a few chapters into 2 Samuel as well. Hey, Carla, how are you? I'm glad you're here. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. If anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. I will start reading here in just a moment or two. Hey, Rebel, glad you're here. Oh, you're not late. It's 9 o'clock on the dot, actually. I got on a few minutes early for once instead of being late. Uh-oh, what's going on, Carla? I'm sorry. I'm glad things are good with you, Scott. I'm pretty good. I think I might be coming down with a cold, but other than that, pretty good. Actually, give me just a second. I'm gonna turn my heater on. So it doesn't get too chilly in here. Okay. So again, we're starting in 1 Samuel chapter 20, finishing out that book and reading the first 4 chapters in 2 Samuel tonight. Oh, thank you, Carla. And I'm always praying for you as well. Oh, hi, Shiloh.
No, now I'm Rockstar Jones.
Oh, hi, Rockstar Jones. Would you like to say hello to...
I'm making an original song.
You are. Do you want to play it?
Oh, actually, I copied one too, buckle my shoe. It's just with a ukulele. Could you pause the stream?
No, I just got live, honey.
Okay.
But I will listen to it in a little bit, or you can play it for them if you want.
Okay, could you record it?
Well, it'll be recorded on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, good point. I gotta say my first words before I do. This song is gonna suck.
Hey, come on now. It's not gonna suck.
Okay, if you say so. That sounded like a quack.
That ukulele is missing a string.
Oh, that sucks.
Okay, enough of the sucks.
Okay.
All right.
But wait.
Okay.
Wrong note again. I need to do the free fall pop.
Yeah.
And then 5-6 Nike kicks. 5-6 Nike kicks.
Very cute, dude. Okay. So, take down our starting shortly. And I'm going to take a drink and then we will get going. Yes, honey.
You've got a gold band. Is that a bandana?
Yeah, it's a bandana.
You've got a gold bandana and I've pretty much just got a...
Yeah, you've got some kind of golden blonde hair, huh?
Yeah. Golden blonde wig.
Okay.
we can make another band.
Carla said, God bless you, and Jesus says he loves you. Scott said you're cute. He's right.
Thank you.
Okay. Excuse me.
Wait.
Let's open with...
Wait a second.
Okay. Go ahead, hurry.
I want to beatbox for you. I need to get closer to the mic.
Good job. All right, so let's open with a prayer. Father God, I come before you tonight and I ask that you help to guide us in this live stream. You help us to have ears to hear and hearts to receive, and just help us to just be in your presence, Lord, and to understand and to be strengthened in community together. We thank you so much. Help this stream to get to those who need to be loved on, people who need prayer, and people who need to hear your word. We thank you so much for all you do for us, Father, for this little community you've helped us build. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 I like the orange, tannish, pinkish light.
Oh, you like the background? The lights.
I like the pizza's brown light.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of
And
comforting.
the red light.
Okay. All right, I'm going to read now, sweetheart, okay? Uh-oh. My scarf totally just fell off my head right away. That's okay. I have my under wrap on, so it's okay.
Guess what?
I know.
Wait, just one.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a recipe.
Okay.
Since I'm also a little quicker.
Yeah, I told him about your video.
Okay.
Okay.
A different video.
Okay, well, we can talk about that on your channel later, okay?
Okay.
Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. And this is 1 Samuel chapter 20. Then David fled from Naioth in Ramah and came and said before Jonathan, What have I done? What is my iniquity? And what is my sin before your father that he is seeking my life? And he said to him, Far from it, you shall not die. Behold, my father does nothing either great or small without revealing it in my ear. So why should my father hide this thing from me? It is not so. Yet David swore again, saying, Your father knows well that I have found favor in your sight, and he has said, Do not let Jonathan know this, lest he be grieved. But truly as Yahweh lives and as your soul lives, there is hardly a step between me and death. Then Jonathan said to David, Whatever your soul says, I will do for you. So David said to Jonathan, Behold, tomorrow is the new moon, and I ought to sit down to eat with the king. But let me go that I may hide myself in the field until the third evening. If your father misses me at all, then say, David earnestly asked leave of me to run to Bethlehem, his city, because it is the yearly sacrifice there for the whole family. If he says it is good, your servant will have peace. But if he is very angry, know that he has decided on evil. Therefore show loving kindness to your servant, for you have brought your servant into a covenant of Yahweh with you. But if there is iniquity in me, put me to death yourself, for why then should you bring me to your father? And Jonathan said, Far be it from you. For if I should indeed come to know that evil has been decided by my father to come upon you, then would I not tell you about it? Then David said to Jonathan, Who will tell me if your father answers you harshly? And Jonathan said to David, Come, and let us go into the field. So both of them, my cat, Cracker is standing right in front of the screen, going back and forth with the cursor. I'm like sitting here trying to read over his head. Okay. Then Jonathan said to David, Yahweh, the God of Israel, be witness. When I have examined my father about this time tomorrow, or the third day, behold, if there is good feeling toward David, shall I not then send to you and reveal it in your ear? If it please my father to do you harm, may Yahweh do so to Jonathan, and more also, if I do not reveal it in your ear and send you away, that you may go in peace. And may Yahweh be with you as he has been with my father. And if I am still alive, will you not show me the loving kindness of Yahweh that I may not die? You shall not cut off your loving kindness from my house forever, not even when Yahweh cuts off every one of the enemies of David from the face of the earth. So Jonathan cut a covenant with the house of David, saying, "May Yahweh require it at the hands of David's enemies." And Jonathan made David swear again because of his love for him, because he loved him as he loved his own soul. Then Jonathan said to him, "Tomorrow is the new moon, and you will be missed because your seat will be missing. When you have stayed for 3 days, you shall go down quickly and come to the place where you hid yourself on the eventful day, and you shall remain by the stone Azel. And I will shoot 3 arrows to the side as though I sent them towards a target. And behold, I will send the young man, saying, 'Go find the arrows.' If I specifically say to the young man, 'Behold, the arrows are on this side of you, get them,' then come, for there is peace for you and no harm, as Yahweh lives. But if I say to the youth, 'Behold, the arrows are beyond you,' go, for Yahweh has sent you away. As for the agreement of which you and I have spoken, behold, Yahweh is between you and me forever." So David hid in the field, and when the new moon came, the king sat down to eat food. Hey,
Put Shaw's milk in.
yeah, when that went off, or when it came back on, it reset my settings, and it blasted me with that light. No, that's okay. I'm just going to turn it down. It's just kind of warm and cozy in here like this with this lighting. Can you take Cracker, honey? He's wonderful and sweet, but he keeps getting completely in the screen.
That's why you're paying attention? Well, you pay attention to me now.
He's very wonderful. No, he just wants to chase the cursor. So will you come and plug this back in when you're done?
Yeah, okay.
Thanks, baby. And the king sat on his seat as usual, the seat by the wall. Then Jonathan rose up, and Abner sat down by Saul's side, but David's place was missing. Nevertheless, Saul did not speak anything that day, for he said, "It is an accident. He is not clean. Surely he is not clean." Now it happened the next day, the second day of the new moon, that David's place was missing. So Saul said to Jonathan his son, "Why has the son of Jesse not come to the meal, either yesterday or today?" Jonathan then answered Saul, "David earnestly asked leave of me to go to Bethlehem, and he said, 'Please send me on my way, since our family has a sacrifice in the city, and my brother has commanded me to attend. So now, if I have found favor in your sight, please let me get away that I may see my brothers.' For this reason he has not come to the king's table." Then Saul's anger burned against Jonathan, and he said to him, "You son of a perverse, rebellious woman, do I not know that you are choosing the son of Jesse to your own shame and to the shame of your mother's nakedness? For as long as the son of Jesse lives on the earth, neither you nor your kingdom will be established. So now, send and bring him to me, for he must surely die." But Jonathan answered Saul his father and said to him, "Why should he be put to death? What has he done?" Then Saul hurled his spear at him to strike him down. So Jonathan knew that his father had decided to put David to death. Then Jonathan arose from the table in burning anger and did not eat food on the second day of the new moon, for he was grieved over David because his father had dishonored him. Now it happened in the morning that Jonathan went out into the field for the appointment with David, and a very young man was with him. And he said to his young man, "Run, find now the arrows which I am about to shoot." As the young man was running, he shot an arrow past him. When the young man reached the place of the arrow which Jonathan had shot, Jonathan called after the lad and said, "Is not the arrow beyond you?" And Jonathan called after the young man, "Hurry, be quick, do not stay." And Jonathan's young man gathered up the arrow and came to his master. But the young man did not know of anything. Only Jonathan and David knew about the matter. Then Jonathan gave his weapons to his young man and said to him, "Go, bring them to the city." When the young man was gone, David rose from the south side and fell on his face to the ground and bowed 3 times. And they kissed each other and wept together, but David wept more. And Jonathan said to David, "Go in peace, inasmuch as we have sworn to each other in the name of Yahweh, saying, 'Yahweh will be between me and you, and between my seed and your seed forever.'" Then he rose and departed, while Jonathan went into the city. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 20. Why does he say that about his mom? Is that what you're talking about? Hang on just a second. I'm not exactly sure why he says it about. Let's see who Saul's wife is. Who is Saul's Saul's son Jonathan's mother. No, I knew that. We read that. Let me see. They don't say anything specific about... Oop. Let me check. It's to insult and disinherit him during a rage. But you would think, like, is he just bashing the mom because the son made him mad? Let me see. I'm reading some things about it. Saul is speaking to Jonathan in Jonathan's frame of reference of a child to his mother. You are doing something contradictory to your own obligations of respect. When Saul says perverse, rebellious woman, Saul is speaking in his own frame of reference towards his wife. This shows Saul's estrangement from both wife and son, who he sees as perfidious. He is losing it, becoming paranoid. That's just some commentary on it. Yeah, well, it's a way to say that he's shameful, you know. That's like back when we were reading about that, you don't do this, you uncover your father's nakedness, your mother's nakedness. That's like a really shameful thing. So to say that, it's kind of like a really mean bash is my understanding. But I'm not completely sure. I have some other commentary pulled up here. Let me scroll down to it. There's a lot of commentary on this one, so I'm... Okay, Saul's anger was aroused, you son of a perverse, rebellious woman. Jonathan knew from this response that Saul's heart was settled on evil against David. If Saul's heart was different towards David, he might have been disappointed but not furious. Doesn't explain why he said it, though. I don't know. We'll have to dig more into that. I will get back to you. I'm going to take a drink, and then we will continue reading. Welcome to those just coming in. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Yeah, definitely, Carla. Let me know what you find, and I'll look more into it later as well. That's okay, Rebel. No worries. I'm glad you're here either way. Okay. 1 Samuel chapter 21. Then David came to Nob to Ahimelech the priest, and Ahimelech came trembling to meet David and said to him, "Why are you alone and no one is with you?" And David said to Ahimelech the priest, "The king has commanded me with a matter and has said to me, 'Let no one know anything about the matter on which I am sending you and with which I have commanded you, and I have directed the young men to a certain place.' So now, what do you have on hand? Give 5 loaves of bread into my hand, or whatever can be found." And the priest answered David and said, "There is no ordinary bread on hand, but there is consecrated bread, if only the young men have kept themselves from women." And David answered the priest and said to him, "Surely women have been kept from us as previously, when I set out, and the vessels of the young men were holy, though it was an ordinary journey. How much more then today will their vessels be holy?" So the priest gave him consecrated bread, for there was no bread there but the bread of the presence, which was removed from before Yahweh, in order to put hot bread in its place when it was taken away. Now one of the servants of Saul was there that day, detained before Yahweh, and his name was Doeg the Edomite, the chief of Saul's shepherds. And David said to Ahimelech, Now is there not a spear or a sword on hand? For I brought neither my sword nor my weapons in my hand, because the king's matter was urgent. Then the priest said, The sword of Goliath the Philistine, whom you struck down in the valley of Elah, behold, it is wrapped in a cloth behind the ephod. If you would take it for yourself, take it. For there is no other except it here. And David said, There is none like it, give it to me. Then David arose and fled that day from Saul and went to Achish king of Gath. But the servants of Achish said to him, Is this not David the king of the land? Did they not sing of this one as they danced, saying, Saul has struck his thousands and David his 10,000s? And David took these words to heart and greatly feared Achish king of Gath. So he disguised his sanity in their sight and acted insanely in their hands and scribbled on the doors of the gate and let his saliva run down into his beard. Then Achish said to his servants, Behold, you see the man behaving as a madman. Why do you bring him to me? Do I lack madmen that you have brought this one to act the madman before me? Shall this one come into my house? And that was 1 Samuel chapter 21. It's reminds me of my mom used to say, if anybody ever tries to attack you or anything, just start foaming at the mouth and act really crazy. 1 Samuel chapter 22. So David departed from there and escaped to the cave of Adullam, and his brothers and all his father's household heard of it and went down there to him. Then everyone who was in distress, and everyone who was in debt, and everyone who was bitter of soul gathered to him, and he became a commander over them. Now there were about 400 men with him. And David went from there to Mizpah of Moab, and he said to the king of Moab, Please let my father and my mother come and stay with you until I know that what God will do for me. Then he left them with the king of Moab, and they stayed with him all the time that David was in the fortress. And the prophet Gad said to David, Do not stay in the fortress, go and enter into the land of Judah. So David went and entered into the forest of Hereth. Then Saul heard that David and the men who were with him had been discovered. Now Saul was sitting in Gibeah under the tamarisk tree on the height with his spear in his hand, and all his servants were standing around him. And Saul said to his servants who were standing around him, Hear now, O Benjamites. Will the son of Jesse also give to all of you fields and vineyards? Will he make you all commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds? For all of you have conspired against me, so that there is no one who reveals in my ear when my son cuts a covenant with the son of Jesse, and there is none of you who is sorry for me or reveals in my ear that my son has caused my servant to rise up against me to lie in ambush, as it is this day. Then Doeg the Edomite, who was standing by the servants of Saul, said, I saw the son of Jesse coming to Nob to Ahimelech the son of Ahitub, and he asked of Yahweh for him, gave him provisions, and gave him the sword of Goliath the Philistine. Then the king sent someone to summon Ahimelech the priest, the son of Ahitub, and all his father's household, the priests who were in Nob, and all of them came to the king. And Saul said, Listen now, son of Ahitub. And he answered, Here I am, my lord. Saul then said to him, Why have you and the son of Jesse conspired against me, in that you have given him bread and a sword, and have asked of God on his behalf, so that he would rise up against me by lying in ambush, as it is this day? Then Ahimelech answered the king and said, And who among all your servants is as faithful as David, even the king's son-in-law, who is captain over your guard and is honored in your house? Did I just begin to ask of God on his behalf today? Far be it from me. Do not let the king impute anything to his servant or to any of the household of my father, for your servant knows nothing small or great of this whole affair. But the king said, You shall surely die, Ahimelech, you and all your father's household. And the king said to the guards who were standing by him, Turn around and put the priests of Yahweh to death, because their hand also is with David, and because they knew that he was fleeing and did not reveal it in my ears. But the servants of the king were not willing to send forth their hands to fall upon the priests of Yahweh. Then the king said to Doeg, You turn around and attack the priests. And Doeg the Edomite turned around and attacked the priests, and he put to death that day 85 men who wore the linen ephod. So he struck Nob the city of the priests with the edge of the sword, both men and women, infants and nursing babies, also oxen, donkeys, and sheep he struck with the edge of the sword. But one son of Ahimelech, the son of Ahitub, named Abiathar, escaped and fled after David. And Abiathar told David that Saul had killed the priests of Yahweh. Then David said to Abiathar, I knew on that day when Doeg the Edomite was there that he would surely tell Saul, it is I who have turned against every person in your father's household. Stay with me, do not be afraid, for he who seeks my life seeks your life, for you are safe with me. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 22. Welcome to those just coming in. How's everybody doing tonight? God bless you. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm going to take a drink and continue reading. Yeah, Carla, I think it's really just that Saul was kind of a little unhinged. He was paranoid. I mean, look how he reacted to the priests and all of his people, just saying, oh, you've, conspired against me with him, and he doesn't know who to trust, I guess. 1 Samuel chapter 23. Then they told David, saying, behold, the Philistines are fighting against Keilah and are pillaging the threshing floors. So David asked of Yahweh, saying, shall I go and strike these Philistines? And Yahweh said to David, go and strike the Philistines and save Keilah. But David's men said to him, behold, we are afraid here in Judah. How much more then if we go to Keilah against the battle lines of the Philistines? Then David asked of Yahweh once more, and Yahweh answered him and said, arise, go down to Keilah, for I will give the Philistines into your hand. So David and his men went to Keilah and fought with the Philistines, and he led away their livestock and struck them with a great slaughter. Thus David saved the inhabitants of Keilah. Now it happened when Abiathar, the son of Ahimelech, fled to David at Keilah, that he came down with an ephod in his hand. Then it was told to Saul that David had come to Keilah. So Saul said, God has delivered him into my hand, for he shut himself in by entering a city with double gates and bars. Then Saul summoned all the people for battle to go down to Keilah to besiege David and his men. But David knew that Saul was plotting evil against him, so he said to Abiathar the priest, bring the ephod here. Then David said, O Yahweh, the God of Israel, your slave has heard for certain that Saul is seeking to come to Keilah to make the city a ruin on my account. Will the men of Keilah surrender me into his hand? Will Saul come down just as your slave has heard? O Yahweh, the God of Israel, I pray, tell your slave. What?
I want to make a whipped cream sound.
Okay.
So I'm going to teach you guys how to make a whipped cream sound. First, cover your mouth with one hand. And then, simply just blow pretty hard.
Oh, that does sound like whipped cream. Now I want some whipped cream. And Yahweh said, he will come down. Then David said, will the men of Keilah surrender me and my men into the hand of Saul? And Yahweh said, they will surrender you. Then David and his men, about 600, arose and departed from Keilah, and they went wherever they could go. Now it was told to Saul that David had escaped from Keilah, so he ceased going out in pursuit. And David stayed in the wilderness in the strongholds and remained in the hill country in the wilderness of Ziph. And Saul sought him every day, but God did not give him into his hand. Then David saw that Saul had come out to seek his life. Now David was in the wilderness of Ziph at Horosh. So Jonathan, Saul's son, arose and went to David at Horosh and strengthened his hand in God. And he said to him, do not be afraid, because the hand of Saul my father will not find you, and you will be king over Israel, and I will be second to you. And Saul my father knows that also. So the two of them cut a covenant before Yahweh, and David stayed at Horosh while Jonathan went to his house. Then Ziphites came up to Saul at Gibeah, saying, "Is David not hiding with us in the strongholds at Horesh on the hill of Hakilah, which is on the south of Jeshimon? So now, O king, according to all the desire of your soul to come down here, and our part shall be to surrender him into the king's hand." And Saul said, "May you be blessed of Yahweh, for you have had compassion on me. Go now, make more sure, and know and see this place." Hi. I love you too very much. "Go now, make more sure, and know and see his place, where his very foot is, and who has seen him there, for I am told that he is very crafty. So see and know about all the hiding places where he hides himself, and return to me with certainty, and I will go with you. And if he is in the land, I will search him out among all the thousands of Judah." Then they arose and went to Ziph before Saul. Now David and his men were in the wilderness of Man, in the Arabah to the south of Jeshimon. So Saul and his men went to seek him, and they told David, and he came down to the rock and stayed in the wilderness of Man. And Saul heard it and pursued David in the wilderness of Man. Did you eat all your chicken nuggets, baby?
Yes.
Do you want to have some hot garbage?
No.
Okay. Hot garbage is what we call Twinkies. I have a box of Twinkies, and Shiloh and I are always like hot garbage about them. And Saul went on one side of the mountain, and David and his men on the other side of the mountain. And David was hurrying to get away from Saul, but Saul and his men were surrounding David and his men to seize them. But a messenger came to Saul, saying, "Hurry and come, for the Philistines have made a raid on the land." So Saul returned from pursuing David and went to meet the Philistines. Therefore they called that place the Rock of Escape. Then David went up from there and stayed in the strongholds of En-gedi. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 23. Yeah, let me see what else I can pull up on this, Carla. Give me just a second here. Okay.
Super cute.
Yes, yes. All right, so I'm doing some searching on this. See what we can find. So he's basically shaming and cursing Jonathan in the harshest way he can. Okay, what the mother's nakedness part means. In Hebrew, nakedness can mean exposure, disgrace, shame, or sexual shame. Here, Saul is not calmly making a theological point. He is hurling an insult. The idea is your behavior is a disgrace to you and a humiliation to the woman who bore you. So Saul is saying something like you are bringing shame on yourself or shame on your family, or your own mother would be humiliated by you. It's just meant to be deeply honoring, because in the culture, family honor mattered a lot. So a modern paraphrase would be, you are a disgrace to yourself and a disgrace to your mother. This reminds me of disgrace on your, what is it when they don't know how to make the rice in that one video? And there's like dishonor on you, dishonor on your family. Let's see, one more detail. Some scholars think Saul's wording may be intentionally crude or vulgar because nakedness language in the Old Testament can sometimes carry a very raw sense. But the safest understanding is still public shame, family disgrace, and humiliation. Not that Saul is making some specific point about literal nakedness. So, yeah. Basically what we were thinking. Excuse me. As if I don't clear my throat enough, now I'm getting a cold and it's just no fun at all. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask.
Who do we have? I want to say
We have Scott.
hi, Scott.
Oh, welcome, Jer. I didn't see you there. We have Jer.
Hi,
We have Rebel.
Rebel.
Carla.
Hi, Carla.
Let me see. I'm going to scroll up. See who else we might have. I think that is it so far
Hello.
that has announced.
Hello, YouTube logo.
You're goofy, and I love you.
I love you.
Okay. I'm going to put some comments down in the chat with some hashtags. Give me just a moment.
Hey, Mommy, I have like an itch or scratch on my chin.
On your chin? Did you try scratching it?
I did.
Is that it? Is that where it was, or
No,
underneath?
Yeah.
Right here? You know what? Sometimes I would get that when I had a food allergy to something.
I didn't eat anything I'm allergic to.
Okay.
I have an allergy to. Unless I have an allergy to chicken.
Yes, he is, Jer. What's up? Okay.
A. Mommy, I'm gonna sing the ABCs.
Can we do that a little bit later, baby?
Wait, just a silly ABC.
Okay. I'm doing this anyway.
GAAA 305 8075 WOS TYZLO WK.
Okay, all right. Give me just a second here. One moment, please. Okay. All right. Scott is my friend, for one. Scott has been here, and he's a good friend. But I do have quite a few mods. But yeah, he has been here, gosh, for quite a while now. It's wonderful. We love Scott.
Hey, Mommy,
Yes.
I hate it when I wake up before I do announce.
Oh, yeah. I know. Steven stayed up way into the day. I know that.
I couldn't see. Oh, apparently the heat wave. We were so. We were asleep so long.
Yeah. I have these comments that I prepared in advance, but it's kind of hard to like be commenting them while reading, you know. I don't want to stop reading to comment them. But I do want to keep the conversation flowing in the chat because that's also how people will be notified of the live. If I could somehow like have a way that they just automatically are posted. I suppose I could have one of my boys do it. Yeah, has it been a year? I don't think it's been a year. It's been quite a while though. Yeah. Why, are you wishing you could be a mod, Jer? That's very odd, Carla, because it is set to notify. I'm not sure why. You know, especially being a subscriber, a paid subscriber, you should definitely be getting notified. Oh yeah, mods, Mostly, mod is something I kind of, for lack of a better word, bestow on people who have been here and supported my channel, who are a friend, you know, that I want to recognize and say, hey, you know, this person has supported me and they're great. But also, it makes it so that if a troll comes in the comments and they're spamming and saying indecent stuff or whatever the case may be, trolling as they do, and I'm reading and not looking in the comments, then one of the mods can remove the comments or, if need be, remove them. So that's what being a mod is. What frustrates me is I wish that my mods could have a subscription to my channel, you know, but it doesn't let me do that. Okay, 1 Samuel chapter 24. Let me take a quick drink. Welcome to those just coming in. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Also, in the pinned comment, there is links to, excuse me, links to the God Squad Discord. If you would like to join us over there and you haven't already, we'd love to have you. We have channels on there for praying and for music, for discussion, for off-topic stuff, and we do movie nights and some stuff. We have fun over there, so we would love to get to know you. So yeah, feel free to join over there, and that is in the pinned comment. It's been more than 4. Okay, so I'm going to bring up the Discord and see if I can find when we became friends on there, Scott. That might give us a better idea, because I'm pretty sure it's been more than 4 months. It's been more like 8, I want to say. But we'll see. And scroll down to Scott. And then scroll up, if it'll let me go back that far. Just scroll up into our conversations. It's going and going and going. We're already back through October. Oh, September. Still going. Yep, it looks like September 2nd was when we first started chatting on Discord. So it's been September, October. So it's been about 7 months, almost 8 months now that Scott has been. Yeah, my memory's not great either. I really like social media for the fact that, like, if I post a picture or say something on Facebook about something I did, I can go and search my own Facebook to see when it was. That's so helpful. So yeah, it's been a long time. Scott has been here, yeah. And Carla has been here not as long, but I want to say more like 5 months. Carla, is that right? I appreciate everybody that comes and hangs out with me here, and I've made friends. When I started doing this, I didn't have people to talk to. I didn't have like a circle or a community, and there was no iron sharpens iron because I just didn't have anybody. And when I was laying in bed one night, I know I've told this story before, but I was laying in bed one night and I had never gone live before, except for I think I did when I was like on a road trip showing a church and things like that. But I was laying in bed one night and I felt lonely and sad, and I was like, nobody's praying for me, you know? And so I said to myself, well, there's got to be other people that are feeling that way too. And I said, well, I'm going to go live and offer to pray for people. And I didn't think anything would come of it, so I thought I'll just leave the live running while I sleep with a thing on the screen that says, if you need prayer, drop a request and I will pray for you. And then when I get up in the morning, I would just pray for everybody. But people started coming in needing prayer and wanting to chat, and it just grew from there. And it has been such a blessing to me. So I really appreciate each of you. Okay. enough waxing poetic or whatever, whatever I'm doing here. I will get back to reading. 1 Samuel chapter 24. Welcome to those just coming in. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Love you too, Carla. When did I first go live? I want to say it was, oh, it's been a year since I've been going live. It was either February or April or May, so it's been close to a year. You can go into my channel under live and scroll back to the first one and see. Okay. 1 Samuel 24. Now when Saul returned from pursuing the Philistines, he was told, saying, Behold, David is in the wilderness of En-gedi. Then Saul took 3,000 chosen men from all Israel and went to seek David and his men in front of the rocks of the wild goats. And he came to the sheepfolds on the way, where there was a cave, and Saul went in to relieve himself. Now David and his men were sitting in the inner recesses of the cave. Then the men of David said to him, Behold, this is the day of which Yahweh said to you, Behold, I am about to give your enemy into your hand, and you shall do to him as it seems good in your eyes. Then David arose and cut off the edge of Saul's robe secretly. And it happened afterward that David's heart struck him because he had cut off the edge of Saul's robe. So he said to his men, Far be it from me, because of Yahweh, that I should do this thing to my Lord, the anointed of Yahweh, to send forth my hand against him, since he is the anointed of Yahweh. And David tore his men to pieces with these words, and did not allow them to rise up against Saul. And Saul arose, left the cave, and went on his way. Now afterward David arose and went out of the cave and called after Saul, saying, My lord the king. And when Saul looked behind him, David bowed with his face to the ground and prostrated himself. And David said to Saul, Why do you listen to the words of men, saying, Behold, David seeks to do you evil? Behold, this day your eyes have seen that Yahweh had given you today into my hand in the cave. And some said to kill you, but my eye had pity on you, and I said, I will not send forth my hand against my Lord, for he is the anointed of Yahweh. Now, my father, see, indeed, see the edge of your robe in your hand, for in that I cut off the edge of your robe and did not kill you. Know and see that there is no evil or transgression in my hand, and I have not sinned against you, though you are lying in wait for my life to take it. May Yahweh judge between you and me, and may Yahweh avenge me on you, but my hand shall not be against you. As the proverb of the ancients says, out of the wicked comes forth wickedness, but my hand shall not be against you. After whom has the king of Israel come out? Whom are you pursuing? After a dead dog, after a single flea? Therefore Yahweh be judge and execute justice between you and me. And may he see and plead my cause and execute justice for me to escape from your hand. Now it happened that when David had finished speaking these words to Saul, Saul said, Is this your voice, my son David? Then Saul lifted up his voice and wept, and he said to David, You are more righteous than I, for you have dealt well with me, while I have dealt evil with you. And you have declared today that you have done good to me, that Yahweh surrendered me into your hand, and yet you did not kill me. For if a man finds his enemy, will he let him go away safely? May Yahweh therefore reward you with good in return for what you have done to me this day. So now, behold, I know that you will surely be king, and that the kingdom of Israel will be established in your hand. So now swear to me by Yahweh that you will not cut off my seed after me, and that you will not destroy my name from my father's household. So David swore to Saul, and Saul went to his home, but David and his men went up to the fortress. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 24. I just feel like these are so good, you know, such exciting parts of the Bible that we're reading. I really enjoy them. What about you guys? And David, as I'm saying here in the comments, you know, him cutting, how he was just convicted immediately, because he was, I mean, if you read the Psalms, David is like seemed to have a sweet spirit, you know? And he really, truly wanted to trust God. And that's why he's called a man after God's own heart. And this chapter is such a lesson, a good lesson in mercy and self-control, don't you guys think? Because imagine, you're standing there in a cave, or you're in a cave, and a guy that is searching you out, trying to kill you, is standing there peeing, He's totally vulnerable, and you just cut off the edge of the robe and decide not to kill him. And it's just amazing, After having... you're called by God to be king. And then the next thing you know, you're running for your life. You don't even have food. You don't have weapons, anything like that. And then the guy that's chasing you and making your life absolutely miserable is right there. And you could just make it all stop. And instead, you chose to listen to God. And it's wonderful and it's amazing. Yes, and... if you look at the wording, let me pop back to it real quick. It says, the men said to him, it says, then the men of David said to him, behold, this is the day of which you always said to you, behold, I'm about to give your enemy into your hand, and you shall do to him as it seems good in your eyes, right? So God left it up to him too. He didn't say, I'm giving him into your hand to kill him, to slay him, to make this all stop. I'm giving him into your hand to do with him as you see fit. Do what you will. And David opted to, prostrate himself on the ground towards the man that's been searching to kill him, even though he knows he's a king. He's going to be the king, and God has already given the kingdom to him, So I guess that also would embolden you, though, if you think about it. If you're talking directly to God, and God has assured you the kingdom is yours, I'm going to preserve your life. This is going to happen for you. He knows that he doesn't have to kill Saul that day. So had he opted to kill Saul that day, it really would have been more self-serving and kind of selfish, because he already knows the end game, right? It's kind of fun and interesting. I just really love these chapters. I think people sleep on the Old Testament too much. People say, oh, we don't have to do the Old Testament anymore because Jesus came and no, he didn't come to abolish it. And even if none of it was something that we have to do now, like obviously we don't have to do a lot of the things that they did then, but you can learn so much. There's so many good lessons through the whole Old Testament. Yes, honey?
Could you open my not water?
It's not water? Why does it look like water? Why do you want me to open not water?
It's not water because it has no label.
Oh, I see.
If you took off the label of Pepsi, it would not be Pepsi.
Here you go. Well, I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
It's like a horse by any other name is still a horse, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyway, I do go on. Yes, I love the Old Testament too. Yeah, he has God's gracious mercy, or merciful heart, and yeah. Oh, James, I'm so glad you're here. How are you doing? How has your week been? Are you glad it's the weekend? Or you work tonight, don't you? And then you're off? Welcome to everyone coming in right now. I'm glad you're here. God bless you. If anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Give me just a second to pop open the Discord real quick.
It's double.
Yeah, this is my hand washing water for if there's something sticky. Can you go on out,
Yes,
please?
yes.
I'm trying to read, okay? I love you.
I love you.
Okay. I have to message my son here on Discord. Do you guys remember let me see, I think it was AIM, like the AOL Instant Messenger, where you could buzz somebody and it would shake their screen? I miss that. Oh, I love you so much, Scott. That's so sweet. Sometimes when I get excited about scripture, and start discussing it, I realize, oops, people are here to hear me read the word, not, for commentary. But yeah, yeah, Carla, that was a long time ago, but wasn't that where you could buzz them and it would shake their screen so that they knew it was important? Oh yeah, I remember AOL, the discs that came through the mail back when we had like the dot matrix printers and all of that. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, I'm not sure about, it was America Online, right? Isn't that what it's called? Um, so yeah, maybe they didn't even have that in Canada. I'm sure they ported in somehow though, but I'm not sure. I don't know how it all works. I was like, always like, well, how are people in other countries? And then I found, let me see, I'm going to pull it up and show you guys because this totally blew my mind. I will. Okay, so here's just a basic. Let's see. See if I can find something better. Maybe you guys already know the cables. Have you guys seen the cables that are under I think they're called submarine cables that are under here, I'll just pop it on the screen for you guys to look at. Although it might be weird on the screen because of my filters. Yeah. Yeah. Oops. You won't be able to see that there. But yeah, it's just these cables. It might be green, but you should be able to see that. No. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I tried. Anyway, maybe you can Google them for yourself. These huge cables that are under the ocean. It's like, wow. Oh, Canada did have AOL, Scott. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, dial up. Yeah, I remember back when you'd connect to a BBS, a bulletin board system, at 500 baud rate. And I remember when we got the 1200 and that seemed like a lot. And then when DSL came around, it was like, wow, this is the future. It's crazy how things just happen and grow and change. It's so funny because if there's ads, like I'll be on Facebook watching reels and there'll be ads and I'll be like, oh my gosh, why are there always ads? And it's like, am I really that far removed from my childhood when we had like 5 minutes of commercials in the middle of a show? Like that was the perfect time to run and go to the bathroom or get some popcorn or whatever. Now it's like, I say this all the time, but I really feel like there's an agenda behind all of the shorts and reels and people, the instant gratification that they're searching for and fulfilling in people. We want things when we want it. We want it right now, fast, 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 right? And I found for myself and my son separately, Kenneth found for himself that, scrolling, even when you're watching stuff where you're learning something, it's like, it's kind of a distraction and a time waster. So I don't do many reels unless I'm looking for like what songs are popular to use for my cat videos and stuff like that. Yeah, dopamine hit every time you swipe. Yeah. I prefer to watch the longer videos, but my brain, um, when things are said slow, it just tunes out. My brain just stops working. So I have to watch things on like 1.25 speed and sometimes even faster. And if nobody has noticed, as a content creator, I know that, watch hours and things like that, you need the time to make the money, right? So I think a lot of people are slowing themselves down and saying things more slowly. Like if I were talking like this really slowly, then when I put it on 1.25 speed, it's like, wow, it still feels slow because they're slowing it down themselves. But for me, that's not about instant gratification or being in a hurry to get there. It's my brain just shuts off if things are too slow. But I remember when TikTok first was big and fun, I had like, I don't know, 1,100 followers on there. And I did my homesteading videos where I went and picked from the garden and played bluegrass music and stuff like that. And that was really fun. And then it became that I remember when they brought out 3-minute TikTok videos, and people had a fit. They were like, you could have done this in 1 minute. You could have gotten to the point. This could have been 15 seconds and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, so it's just gone downhill from there. Let's see. Does anybody have a problem? I have a Samsung. Does anybody have a problem with RC's chat a lot? Are you talking about the chat in the one you're in? If it's not working for you, maybe refresh and come back in. Scott says he's not having any problem, and I'm not showing any problems in the comment section on my end either. But you could try rebooting or just go over to the other stream. Here, I'll pop the link down in there. I think you were in here before. But here is the link to the other stream if anybody wants to go over there. There's background music and a noise gate so you don't hear every little sound I make. Yeah, I've been on Facebook basically since it came out. I don't know why people bash Facebook. I think it's kind of the good one to be on for what it offers. But again, I don't do a whole lot of, social media stuff. It's just like if I want to watch some videos, I like their reel system better because you actually watch a long video in there. I'll watch an hour-long crime video or something like that. But yeah, I love TikTok, and I did create an account for this channel on there. But it's full of just kind of hateful people. Yeah. And X, back when I was raising awareness for mental illness and stuff like that, I was on Twitter and had quite a following on there, but that was years and years ago. It's totally different now, and I have no idea how to use it. What's lit, Rebel? Let's see, Rebel said, we're battling false prophets and false teachers over at Tanner's, so pray for us in strength. Yeah, of course. Father God, please have your hand and your presence in Tanner's channel right now, Father. Help them to have the words to bring your truth into the matter, Lord, and protect them, and just help that to be a way to open eyes and ears, Lord, to your truth. We thank you, Father, in Jesus' name. Amen. You're talking to a friend, and for some reason it's going to SMS chat. Oh, you're talking about just on your Samsung phone? I don't know. I do know I keep getting a message from Samsung saying, agree to this, agree to that, and I am not agreeing to anything. Okay, so I better read another chapter, guys. I do love the conversation, though. 1 Samuel chapter 25. Then Samuel died, and all Israel gathered together and lamented for him and buried him at his house in Ramah. And David arose and went down to the wilderness of Paran. Now there was a man in Maon whose work was in Carmel, and the man was very great, and he had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. And it happened, while he was shearing his sheep in Carmel, now the man's name was Nabal, and his wife's name was Abigail. And the woman was good in sight and beautiful in appearance, but the man was harsh and evil in his dealings, and he was a Calebite. That David heard in the wilderness that Nabal was shearing his sheep. So David sent 10 young men, and David said to the young men, go up to Carmel, come to Nabal, and greet him in my name, and thus you shall say, have a long life, peace be to you, and peace be to your house, and peace be to all that you have. So now I have heard that you have shearers. Now your shepherds have been with us, and we have not dishonored them, nor have they missed anything all the days they were in Carmel. Ask your young men, and they will tell you. Therefore let my young men find favor in your eyes, for we have come on a festive day. Please give whatever you find at hand to your servants and to your son, to David. Then David's young men came and spoke to Nabal, according to all these words in David's name. Then they waited, but Nabal answered David's servants and said, who is David, and who is the son of Jesse? There are many servants today who are each breaking away from his master. Shall I then take my bread and my water and my meat that I have slaughtered for my shearers, and give it to men whose origin I do not know? So David's young men went back on their way and returned, and they came and told him according to all these words. Then David said to his men, each of you gird on his sword. So each man girded on his sword, and David also girded on his sword. And about 400 men went up behind David, and 200 stayed with the baggage. Sorry, I have to fix my screen real quick. There. But one of the young men told Abigail, Nabal's wife, saying, behold, David sent messengers from the wilderness to greet our master, and he rushed at them angrily. Yet the men were very good to us, and we were not dishonored, nor did we miss anything as long as we went about with them while we were in the field. They were a wall to us both by night and by day, all the time we were with them shepherding the sheep. So now, know and see what you should do, for evil is decided against our master and against all his household, and he is such a vile man that no one can speak to him. Then Abigail hurried and took 200 loaves of bread and 2 jugs of wine and 5 sheep already prepared and 5 seahs of roasted grain and 100 clusters of raisins and 200 cakes of figs, and loaded them on donkeys. Then she said to her young men, go on before me, behold, I am coming after you. But she did not tell her husband Nabal. So it was happening as she was riding on her donkey and coming down by the hidden part of the mountain, that behold, David and his men were coming down toward her, and she met them. Now David had said, surely for a lie I have guarded all that this man has in the wilderness, so that nothing was missed of all that belonged to him. And he has returned me evil for good. May God do so to the enemies of David, and more also, if by morning I leave as much as one male of any who belong to him. Then Abigail saw David, so she hurried and dismounted from her donkey, and fell on her face before David, and bowed herself to the ground. And she fell at his feet, and said, on me alone, my lord, be the blame. And please let your maidservant speak in your ears, and listen to the words of your maidservant. Please do not let my lord pay attention to this vile man Nabal, for as his name is, so is he. Nabal is his name, and wicked foolishness is with him. But I, your maidservant, did not see the young men of my lord whom you sent. So now, my lord, as Yahweh lives and as your soul lives, since Yahweh has restrained you from shedding blood and from saving yourself by your own hand, so now let your enemies and those who seek evil against my lord be as Nabal. So now let this gift which your servant woman has brought to my lord be given to the young men who went about with my lord. Please forgive the transgression of your maidservant, for Yahweh will certainly make for my lord an enduring house, because my lord is fighting the battles of Yahweh, and evil will not be found in you all your days. And should anyone rise up to pursue you and to seek your life, then the life of my Lord shall be bound in the bundle of the living with Yahweh your God, but the lives of your enemies he will sling out as from the hollow of a sling. And it will be that when Yahweh does for my Lord according to all the good that he has spoken concerning you, and appoints you ruler over Israel, then this will not cause stumbling or a troubled heart to my Lord, both by having shed blood without cause, and by my Lord having saved himself. When Yahweh deals well with my Lord, then remember your maidservant. Then David said to Abigail, Blessed be Yahweh, the God of Israel, who sent you this day to meet me, and blessed be your discernment, and blessed be you, who have kept me this day from bloodshed, and from saving myself by my own hand. Nevertheless, as Yahweh, the God of Israel, lives, who has restrained me from harming you, unless you had hurried and come to meet me, surely there would not have been left to Nabal until the morning light as much as one male. So David received from her hand what she had brought him, and said to her, Go up to your house in peace. See, I have listened to your voice and granted your request. Then Abigail came to Nabal, and behold, he was holding a feast in his house like the feast of a king. And Nabal's heart was merry within him, for he was very drunk. So she did not tell him anything small or great until the morning light. But in the morning, when the wine had gone out of Nabal, his wife told him these things, and his heart died within him, so that he became as a stone. Now it happened that about 10 days later, Yahweh smote Nabal, and he died. Then David heard that Nabal was dead, so he said, Blessed be Yahweh, who has pleaded the cause of my reproach from the hand of Nabal, and has kept back his servant from evil. Yahweh has also returned the evil of Nabal on his own head. Then David sent a proposal to Abigail to take her as his wife. Then the servants of David came to Abigail at Carmel and spoke to her, saying, David has sent us to you to take you as his wife. And she arose and bowed with her face to the ground and said, Behold, your maidservant is a servant woman to wash the feet of my Lord's servants. Then Abigail hurried and arose, and she rode on a donkey with her 5 young women who went about with her. And she went after the messengers of David and became his wife. David had also taken Ahinoam of Jezreel, and they both became his wives. Now Saul had given Michal, his daughter, David's wife, to Palti, the son of Laish, who was from Galim. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 25. Let me see. Oh no! You watched Lucy Shimmers? That's a joke around this house, and it's, oh my goodness. Oh. Lucy Shimmers was presented as like a cute family movie. You're interrupting.
Oh, sorry.
And I thought it would be good. I thought it was going to come to a good end, you know. So we watched it as a family, and Stephen is tremendously sensitive. And about halfway through, I realized, oh no, this isn't going to end well. And I looked at my sons and my older sons, and I was like, this is going to be okay, right? And my son cried, and I mean, he broke down sobbing, and he still will bring it up. So my older boys harassed me about Lucy Shimmers. Like, you're the first person I've ever heard mention it. Yeah, Nabal was definitely a jerk.
Hey, Mommy.
Hmm?
Could you please watch me get my tablet
Where is it?
in my room? Just on
Okay. Give me just a moment, guys. Guys. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead, honey. Oh, check your settings, Jer. On Samsung's, there's settings where you can put it on, there's 3 different ones, and one is optimized, so the heating isn't as bad. Depending on which phone you have, sometimes it gets really hot. Oh, James, okay. We'll be glad when you return.
Look at this. I'm not gonna move my hand. It's just gonna run.
Oh, yeah, I see. Welcome to those just joining us. God bless. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. We are about to head into 1 Samuel chapter 26. I'm just going to drop some comments down in the chat about the previous chapter. I have these prepared ahead of time, but it's hard to read and comment at the same time. Okay. All right. Now I can put them in the other chat because I have 2 streams. I have a dual stream in the horizontal normal form over there, and then I have the vertical stream. So the dual stream I don't generally do because when it streams to the short speed, it crops it into the middle instead of shrinking it down to fit. So you guys are like seeing half of the Bible text, and I don't think you see my little tuber character or anything. Okay. 1 Samuel chapter 26. Then the Ziphites came to Saul at Gibeah, saying, Is not David hiding on the hill of Keilah, which is before Jeshimon? So Saul arose and went down to the wilderness of Ziph, having with him 3,000 chosen men. Wait, I didn't go backwards, did I? No. Having with him 3,000 chosen men of Israel to search for David in the wilderness of Ziph. And Saul camped in the hill of Keilah, which is before Jeshimon, beside the road. Now David was staying in the wilderness, and he saw that Saul came after him into the wilderness. So David sent out spies, and knew that Saul was certainly coming. David then arose and came to the place where Saul had camped. And David saw the place where Saul lay, as well as Abner the son of Ner, the commander of his army. And Saul was lying in the circle of the camp, and the people were camped around him. Then David answered and said to Ahimelech the Hittite, and to Abishai the son of Zeruiah, Joab's brother, saying, Who will go down with me to Saul in the camp? And Abishai said, I will go down with you. So David and Abishai came to the people by night, and behold, I didn't mute, did I? Oh, I unmuted it. Okay. So David and Abishai came to the people by night, and behold, Saul lay sleeping inside the circle of the camp with his spear stuck in the ground at his head, and Abner and the people were lying around him. Then Abishai said to David, Today God has surrendered your enemy into your hand. So now, please let me strike him with the spear to the ground with one stroke, and I will not strike him the second time. But David said to Abishai, Do not destroy him, for who can send forth his hand against the anointed of Yahweh and be without guilt? David also said, As Yahweh lives, surely Yahweh will smite him, or his day will come that he dies, or he will go down into battle and be swept away. Yahweh forbid that I should send forth my hand against the anointed of Yahweh. But now, Daniel, why don't you get out of that box and go lay somewhere you can spread out? Here. Oh, sweet baby. Go over to the bed and be cozy. He had himself shoved in this little tiny box. Silly kitten. Okay. Yahweh forbid that I should send forth my hand against the anointed of Yahweh, but now please take the spear that is at his head and the jug of water, and let us go. So David took the spear and the jug of water from beside Saul's head, and they went away, but no one saw or knew it, nor did any awake, for they were all asleep, because a sound sleep from Yahweh had fallen on them. Then David crossed over to the other side and stood on top of the mountain at a distance with a large area between them. And David called to the people and to Abner the son of Ner, saying, Will you not answer, Abner? Then Abner answered and said, Who are you who calls to the king? So David said to Abner, Are you not a man? And who is like you in Israel? Why then have you not guarded your lord the king? For one of the people came to destroy the king your lord. This thing that you have done is not good. As Yahweh lives, all of you must surely die, because you did not keep watch over your lord, the anointed of Yahweh. So now, see where the king's spear is, and the jug of water that was at his head. Then Saul recognized David's voice and said, Is this your voice, my son David? And David said, It is my voice, my lord the king. He also said, Why then is my lord pursuing his servant? For what have I done? Or what evil is in my hand? So now, please let my lord the king listen to the words of his servant. If Yahweh has incited you up against me, let him accept an offering. But if it is men, cursed are they before Yahweh, for they have driven me out today, so that I would have no attachment with the inheritance of Yahweh, saying, Go serve other gods. So now, do not let my blood fall to the ground away from the presence of Yahweh, for the king of Israel has come out to search for a single flea, just as one pursues a partridge in the mountains. Then Saul said, I have sinned. Return my son David, for I will not harm you again, because my life was precious in your sight this day. Behold, I have played the fool and have committed a serious error. And David replied, Behold, the spear of the king. Now let one of the young men come over and take it. Now Yahweh will repay each man for his righteousness and his faithfulness, for Yahweh gave you into my hand today, but I was not willing to send forth my hand against the anointed of Yahweh. Now behold, as your life was highly valued in my sight this day, so may my life be highly valued in the sight of Yahweh, and may he deliver me from all distress. Then Saul said to David, Blessed are you, my son David. You will both accomplish much and surely prevail. So David went on his way, and Saul returned to his place. And that was 1 Samuel 26. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask.
Mommy,
Yes?
can we get fabric for plushie?
What?
Can we get fabric to make a plushie of me?
Yeah, well, I'll have to look online to find something.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay. But I do remember having a bunch of different fabrics.
Give me just a second here, guys. I'm just gonna paste my little comments down here. Okay. You have what, Shiloh?
I do have a little bit of different fabric.
You have a little bit of different fabric.
But they're lost.
We might be able to find a kit that has like plushy fabric stuff. I'll have to see what we can find, okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, I'm going to take a drink and we will continue on reading. Let me check the comments here.
Is Joe still here?
Jer said he had to go for a little bit, but he will be back.
Okay. Who else is in the line?
Scott is here.
Hi,
And
Scott.
Carla.
Hi, Carla.
James had to go for a bit, but will be returning. Hello, Daniel. Daniel the kitten is here.
Hi, Daniel.
Okay, Daniel, I'm going to have a drink. Don't step on the keyboard, okay? Okay. No, you don't need to stand right there, do you, kitten? Oh, okay, let's knock everything over. That's good. You want me to hold you? Okay. Oh, Shiloh, Scott wants me to give you a hug for him.
Okay.
So you'll have to come here so I can give you a hug. And then we will read 1 Samuel chapter 27. Big hug from Scott. Okay. 1 Samuel chapter 27. Then David said in his heart, "Now I will be swept away one day by the hand of Saul. There is nothing better for me than that I should utterly escape into the land of the Philistines. Saul then will despair of searching for me any more in all the territory of Israel, and I will escape from his hand." So David arose and crossed over, he and the 600 men who were with him, to Achish the son of Maoch, king of Gath. And David lived with Achish at Gath, he and his men, each with his household, even David with his 2 wives, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and Abigail the Carmelitess, Nabal's wife. And I do want to say, Ahinoam was also the name of Jonathan's mom, Saul's, I believe, late wife, but it is not the same Ahinoam. And it was told to Saul that David had fled to Gath, so he no longer searched for him. Then David said to Achish, "If now I have found favor in your sight, let them give me a place in one of the cities in the country, that I may live there. For why should your servant live in the royal city with you?" So Achish gave him Ziklag. Hey, no, kitten, you're not going to attack things. Go over there on the bed. So Achish gave him Ziklag that day. Therefore Ziklag has belonged to the kings of Judah to this day. And the number of days that David lived in the country of the Philistines was 1 year and 4 months. Now David and his men went up and raided the Geshurites and the Girzites and the Amalekites, for they were the inhabitants of the land from ancient times, as you come to Shur, even as far as the land of Egypt. And David struck the land and did not leave a man or a woman alive, and he took away the sheep, the cattle, the donkeys, the camels, and the clothing. Then he returned and came to Achish, and Achish said, "Where have you made a raid today?" And David said, "Against the Negev of Judah, and against the Negev of the Jerahmeelites, and against the Negev of the Kenites." And David did not leave a man or a woman alive to bring to Gath, saying, "Lest they tell about us, saying, so has David done, and so has been his custom, all the time he has lived in the country of the Philistines." So Achish believed David, saying, "He has surely made himself odious among his people Israel, therefore he will become my servant forever." And that was 1 Samuel chapter 27. Au contraire, mon frère. Let's see. Just make sure you don't play any videos that can be heard over here, okay?
Okay. I'm gonna turn it down.
Welcome to those just coming in. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Is everybody happy it's the weekend? First Samuel chapter 28. We have, I think, 4 or 5 chapters. No, 3 chapters left of 1 Samuel before we head into 2 Samuel. Now it happened in those days that the Philistines gathered their armed camps for war to fight against Israel. And Achish said to David, "Know assuredly that you will go out with me in the camp, you and your men." And David said to Achish, "Very well, you shall know what your servant can do." So Achish said to David, "Very well, I will make you my bodyguard for life." Now Samuel was dead, and all Israel had lamented for him and buried him in Ramah, his own city. And Saul had removed from the land those who were mediums and spiritists. So the Philistines gathered together and came and camped in Shunem. No, just Shunem. I was trying to read a different city. Camped in Shunem, and Saul gathered all Israel together, and they camped in Gilboa. Saul saw the camp of the Philistines and was afraid, and his heart trembled greatly. So Saul asked of Yahweh, but Yahweh did not answer him, either by dreams or by Urim or by prophets. So Saul said to his servants, "Seek for me a woman who is a medium, that I may go to her and inquire of her." And his servants said to him, "Behold, there is a woman who is a medium of Endor." Then Saul disguised himself and put on other clothes, and he went, he and 2 men with him, and they came to the woman by night, and he said, "Divine for me, please, and bring up for me whom I shall say to you." But the woman said to him, "Behold, you know what Saul has done, how he has cut off those who are mediums and spiritists from the land. Why are you then laying a snare for my life to bring about my death?" Then Saul swore to her by Yahweh, saying, "As Yahweh lives, no punishment shall come upon you for this thing." Then the woman said, "Whom shall I bring up for you?" And he said, "Bring up Samuel for me." And the woman saw Samuel and cried out with a loud voice. And the woman spoke to Saul, saying, "Why have you deceived me? For you are Saul." And the king said to her, "Do not be afraid, but what do you see?" And the woman said to Saul, "I see a divine being coming up out of the earth." And he said to her, "What is his form?" And he said, "An old man is coming up, and he is wrapped with a robe." And Saul knew that it was Samuel, and he bowed with his face to the ground and prostrated himself. Then Samuel said to Saul, "Kitten, can you stop knocking everything off of the desk?" "No, not a toy." Then Samuel said to Saul, "Why have you disturbed me by bringing me up?" And Saul answered, "I am greatly distressed, for the Philistines are waging war against me, and God has turned away from me and no longer answers me, either by the hand of the prophets or by dreams. Therefore I have called you, that you may make known to me what I should do." And Samuel said, "Why then do you ask me, since Yahweh has turned away from you and has become your adversary?" So Yahweh has done accordingly as he spoke by my hand, for Yahweh has torn the kingdom out of your hand and given it to your neighbor, to David. As you did not listen to the voice of Yahweh and did not execute his burning anger on Amalek, so Yahweh has done this thing to you this day. Moreover, Yahweh will also give over Israel along with you into the hands of the Philistines. Therefore, tomorrow you and your sons will be with me. Indeed, Yahweh will give over the camp of Israel into the hands of the Philistines. Then Saul quickly fell full length upon the ground and was very afraid because of the words of Samuel. Also there was no strength in him, for he had eaten no food all day and all night. And the woman came to Saul and saw that he was terrified, and said to him, "Behold, your servant woman has listened to your voice, and I have taken my life in my hand and have listened to your words, which you spoke to me. So now also, please listen to the voice of your servant woman, and let me set a piece of bread before you, that you may eat and have strength when you go on your way." But he refused and said, "I will not eat." However, his servants together with a woman urged him, and he listened to them. So he arose from the ground and sat on the bed, and the woman had a fattened calf in the house, and she quickly sacrificed it, and she took flour, kneaded it, and baked unleavened bread from it, and she brought it before Saul and his servants, and they ate. Then they arose and went away that night. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 28. Oh, Daniel, you're typing a bunch of zeros into the comments. Hey, chill. Okay. Hang on just a second here. Daniel, you're being crazy. Okay, just posting my comments down in the chat. And we will be headed into 1 Samuel 29 after I take a drink. Okay, Daniel, go over there, please. Why don't you let him out, honey? See if Wheezy is interested in coming in. Okay, 1 Samuel chapter 29. If anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. God bless you. I am glad you're here. second. Just put in some hashtags in the comments. Try and get the stream out into the algorithm. Okay. Then the Philistines gathered together at their camps to Aphek, while the Israelites were camping by the spring which is in Jezreel. And the lords of the Philistines were proceeding on by hundreds and by thousands, and David and his men were proceeding on in the rear with Achish. Then the commanders of the Philistines said, "What are these Hebrews doing here?" And Achish said to the commanders of the Philistines, "Is this not David, the servant of Saul, the king of Israel, who has been with me these days, or rather these years, and I have found no fault in him from the day he deserted to me to this day?" But the commanders of the Philistines were angry with him, and the commanders of the Philistines said to him, "Make the man return, that he may return to his place where you have assigned him, and do not let him go down to battle with us, or in the battle, excuse me, or in the battle he may become an adversary to us. For with what could this man make himself acceptable to his Lord? Would it not be with the heads of these men? Is this not David, of whom they sing in the dances, saying, Saul has struck his thousands, and David his 10,000s? Then Achish called David and said to him, As Yahweh lives, you have been upright, and your going out and your coming in with me in the camp are pleasing in my sight, for I have not found evil in you from the day of your coming to me to this day. Nevertheless, you are not pleasing in the sight of the lords. So now return and go in peace, that you may not do evil in the sight of the lords of the Philistines. And David said to Achish, But what have I done, and what have you found in your servant from the day when I came before you to this day, that I may not go and fight against the enemies of my lord the king? But Achish answered and said to David, I know that you are pleasing in my sight, like an angel of God. Nevertheless, the commanders of the Philistines have said, He must not go up with us to the battle. So now arise early in the morning with the servants of your Lord who have come with you, and as soon as you have arisen early in the morning and have light, go. So David arose early, he and his men, to go in the morning to return to the land of the Philistines. And the Philistines went up to Jezreel. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 29. How's everybody doing tonight? I will carry on reading in just a moment. Yes, praise God. God is good all the time. Yeah, I'm glad you're still there, Carla. How are you feeling? I know you were starting to feel better. I was missing having you here, and that's why I've been starting to come a little bit early too. I was really hoping you'd be here tonight, and I'm really glad that you made it. Who's scratching at the door, Shiloh? Well, I don't want Daniel back in here right now if that's him.
It is.
No.
But they don't have blue.
No, he keeps climbing over here and knocking things off the desk and stuff.
No, I just.
Oh, okay.
Inside.
All right. Okay, I can't have him just scratching at the door nonstop. Can you go ask Kenny to take him into his room or something? Please. Oh, is your hearing still affected? I'm going to lift you up in prayer now. Father God, I pray for my sister Carla, and I ask that you heal her ears, Lord. Just place your hands on her head, Lord, and help her to be well completely, Lord. Help her to be able to hear, that she can hear your word and be blessed, Lord. We thank you so much. Give her peace and strength and help her to be fully and completely healed. If it be your will, Lord, we thank you and we trust you, and we are so grateful for Carla. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, give me a second, guys. Daniel, Lieutenant, come in here knocking things off the desk. Shadow, I'll be right back. Okay. Daniel is in with Kenneth now. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. Sorry, I had to go have a kitten distracted. I'm going to take a drink real quick, and then we will read the last couple chapters of the book of 1 Samuel. Are you okay?
Well, your heater is probably not okay.
Oh. Did you hurt your foot?
No,
Oh, good.
I might have.
Hmm?
Well, it almost looks like your heater's broken.
Yeah, people keep tripping over the cord and pulling it out of the plug and bending it. Okay. 1 Samuel chapter 30. Then it happened when David and his men came to Ziklag on the third day that the Amalekites had made a raid on the Negev and on Ziklag, and had struck Ziklag and burned it with fire. And they took captive the women and all who were in it, both small and great. They did not put anyone to death, and carried them off and went their way. Then David and his men came to the city, and behold, it was burned with fire, and their wives and their sons and their daughters had been taken captive. So David and the people who were with him lifted their voices and wept until there was no strength in them to weep. Now David's 2 wives had been taken captive, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and Abigail the widow of Nabal the Carmelite. Moreover, David was greatly distressed because the people said to stone him, for all the people were embittered, each one because of his sons and his daughters. What's going on? Why don't you go hang out in Kennington for a little bit? Okay, then you have to sit there quietly, okay? Okay. You can send Wheezy in if she's available, Kenny. Okay. Wheezy! Hey, pretty girl. Okay. But Yahweh is God. Then David said to Abiathar the priest, the son of Ahimelech, please bring the ephod near to me. So Abiathar brought the ephod near to David, and David asked of Yahweh, saying, shall I pursue this band? Shall I overtake them? And he said to them, pursue, for you will surely overtake them, and you will surely deliver all. So David went, he and the 600 men who were with him, and they came to the brook Besor, where those left behind remained. But David pursued, he and 400 men, for 200 who were too exhausted to cross the brook Besor remained behind. Then they found an Egyptian in the field, and brought him to David, and gave him bread, and he ate, and they provided him water to drink. And they gave him a piece of fig cake and 2 clusters of raisins, and he ate. Then his spirit revived, for he had not eaten bread or drunk water for 3 days and 3 nights. And David said to him, to whom do you belong, and where are you from? And he said, I am a young man of Egypt, a slave of an Amalekite, and my master forsook me when I fell sick 3 days ago. We made a raid on the Negev of the Kerethites, and on that which belongs to Judah, and on the Negev of Caleb, and we burned Ziklag with fire. Then David said to him, will you bring me down to this band? And he said, swear to me by God that you will not put me to death, or surrender me into the hands of my master, and I will bring you down to this band. So he brought him down, and behold, they were spread over all the land, eating and drinking and celebrating because of all the great spoil that they had taken from the land of the Philistines and from the land of Judah. Then David struck them down from the twilight until the evening of the next day, and not a man of them escaped except 400 young men who rode on camels and fled. Katrina! Yeah, I started at 9 o'clock, so it's been a little over an hour and a half. But I'm going to be reading for a while longer. And I'll probably go later tonight as long as people are here to listen. I'm glad you made it. I'll bet you're tired. So David delivered all that the Amalekites had taken and delivered his 2 wives. Indeed, nothing of theirs was missing, whether small or great, sons or daughters, spoil or anything they had taken for themselves. David brought it all back. And David took all the sheep and the cattle which the people drove ahead of the other livestock, and they said, "This is David's spoil." Then David came to the 200 men who were too exhausted to follow David, who had also remained at the brook Bezor, and they went out to meet David and to meet the people who were with him. And David approached the people and greeted them. Then all the evil and vile men among those who went with David said, "Because they did not go with us, we will not give them any of the spoil that we have delivered, except to every man his wife and his children, that they may lead them away and depart." Then David said, "You must not do so, my brothers, with what Yahweh has given us, who has kept us and given into our hand the band that came against us." Hang on just a second. No, Daniel. No. Stop scratching on the door. You're being ridiculous. Shiloh, can you get Daniel, please? He keeps knocking everything off the desk, Lacey. Okay. Sorry about that. And who will listen to you in this matter? For as is the portion of the one who goes down to the battle, so shall the portion be of the one who remains by the baggage. They shall be apportioned together. So it has been from that day forward that he made it a statute and a judgment for Israel to this day. Carla says, "Hi, Katrina." Then David came to Ziklag and sent some of the spoil to the elders of Judah, to his friends, saying, "Behold, a gift for you from the spoil of the enemies of Yahweh, to those who were in Bethel, and to those who were in Ramoth of the Negev, and to those who were in Jatir, and to those who were in Eror." And I'm going to have a fit over this cat. Give me just a second. No, you need to stop, kitten. Go hang out with Kenny. Come on. Go back, Weezy. Sorry about that, guys. I had to go put Daniel back in Kenneth's room so he quits clawing at the door. Katrina says, "Hi, Carla." Okay, where was I? Let me get a drink real quick, and then I will continue. Okay. Excuse me. Give me just a second to put some comments down. Here we go. Okay. Back it up just a little bit. Behold, a gift for you from the spoil of the enemies of Yahweh, to those who were in Bethel, and to those who were in Ramoth of the Negev, and to those who were in Jatir, and to those who were in Aroer, and to those who were in Siphmoth, and to those who were in Eshtemoa, and to those who were in Rakel, and to those who were in the cities of the Jerahmeelites, Jerahmeelites, and to those who were in the cities of the Kenites, and to those who were in Hormah, and to those who were in Borashan, and to those who were in Attak, and to those who were in Hebron, and to all the places where David himself and his men went about. And that was chapter 30. We are on the final chapter of 1 Samuel. Exciting. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. 1 Samuel chapter 31. Now the Philistines were fighting against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines and fell slain on Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines closely pursued Saul and his sons, and the Philistines struck down Jonathan and Abinadab and Malchishua, the sons of Saul. And the battle became heavy against Saul, and the archers hit him, and he was badly wounded by the archers. Then Saul said to his armor-bearer, "Draw your sword and pierce me through with it, lest these uncircumcised come and pierce me through and abuse me." But his armor-bearer was not willing, for he was greatly afraid. So Saul took his sword and fell on it. Then his armor-bearer saw that Saul was dead, so he also fell on his sword and died with him. Thus Saul died with his 3 sons, his armor-bearer, and all his men on that day together. Then the men of Israel, who were on the other side of the valley, with those who were beyond the Jordan, saw that the men of Israel had fled, and that Saul and his sons were dead. So they forsook the cities and fled, and the Philistines came and lived in them. Now it happened on the next day that the Philistines came to strip the slain, and they found Saul and his 3 sons fallen on Mount Gilboa. Then they cut off his head and stripped off his weapons, and sent them all around the land of the Philistines to proclaim the good news to the house of their idols and to the people. And they placed his weapons in the house of Ashtaroth, and fastened his body to the wall of Bethshan. Then the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead heard what the Philistines had done to Saul, so all the valiant men arose and walked all night, and took the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons from the wall of Bethshan, and they came to Jabesh and burned them there. And they took their bones and buried them under the tamarisk tree at Jabesh, and fasted 7 days. And that was the end of 1 Samuel. It's sad that Jonathan had to die too, like that, you know? It almost feels like it was just kind of grazed over, you know? But let's see. Definitely a sobering reminder, you know? Okay, so we head on into 2 Samuel chapter 1. Welcome to those joining us. God bless you. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay, Katrina, no problem. I'm glad you're here listening. Now it happened after the death of Saul that David returned from striking down the Amalekites. Then David remained 2 days in Ziklag. Now it happened that on the 3rd day, behold, a man came out of the camp from Saul, and his clothes were torn, and dust was on his head. And it happened when he came to David that he fell to the ground and prostrated himself. Then David said to him, "From where do you come?" And he said to him, "I have escaped from the camp of Israel." And David said to him, "How did things go? Tell me now." And he said, "The people have fled from the battle, and also many of the people have fallen and are dead. And Saul and Jonathan his son are dead also." So David said to the young man who told him, "How do you know that Saul and his son Jonathan are dead?" And the young man who told him said, "By chance I happened to be on Mount Gilboa, And behold, Saul was leaning on his spear, and behold, the chariots and the horsemen pursued him closely. Then he turned to look behind him, and he saw me and called to me, and I said, Here I am. And he said to me, Who are you? And I answered him, I am an Amalekite. Then he said to me, Please stand beside me and put me to death, for agony has seized me, because my life still lingers in me. So I stood beside him and put him to death, because I knew that he could not live after he had fallen. And I took the crown which was on his head and the bracelet which was on his arm, and I have brought them here to my Lord. Then David took hold of his clothes and tore them, and so also did all the men who were with him. And they lamented and wept and fasted until evening for Saul and his son Jonathan, and for the people of Yahweh and the house of Israel, because they had fallen by the sword. And David said to the young man who told him, Where are you from? And he answered, I am the son of a sojourner, an Amalekite. Then David said to him, How is it that you are not afraid to send forth your hand to destroy the anointed of Yahweh? And David called one of the young men and said, Approach and fall upon him. So he struck him and he died. And David said to him, Your blood is on your head, for your mouth has answered against you, saying, I have put the anointed of Yahweh to death. Then David chanted with this funeral lament over Saul and Jonathan his son, and he told them to teach the sons of Judah the song of the bow. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher. Your beauty, O Israel, is slain on your high places. How have the mighty fallen? Tell it not in Gath, proclaim it not in the streets of Ashkelon, lest the daughters of the Philistines be glad, lest the daughters of the uncircumcised exult. O mountains of Gilboa, let not dew or rain be on you, nor fields of offerings. For there the shield of the mighty was defiled, the shield of Saul, not anointed with oil. From the blood of the slain, from the fat of the mighty. The bow of Jonathan did not turn back, and the sword of Saul did not return empty. Saul and Jonathan, beloved and pleasant in their life, and in their death they were not separated. They were swifter than eagles, they were mightier than lions. O daughters of Israel, weep over Saul, who clothed you luxuriously in scarlet, who put ornaments of gold on your clothing. How have the mighty fallen in the midst of the battle? Jonathan is slain on your high places. I am distressed for you, my brother Jonathan. You have been very pleasant to me. Your love to me was more wonderful than the love of women. How have the mighty fallen and the weapons of war perished? And that was 2 Samuel chapter 1. Okay. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Going to drop these comments down in here. And then we will carry on to chapter 2. Just a moment. Feel free to jump down in the comments and tell us what's God been doing in your life lately. If you have a praise report, we would love to celebrate with you. Also, in the pinned comment, you will find the link to the Discord server. We would love to have you join over there. I'm just going to take a drink and then we will get to going. 2 Samuel chapter 2. Now it happened afterwards that David asked of Yahweh, saying, Shall I go up to one of the cities of Judah? And Yahweh said to him, Go up. So David said, Where shall I go up? And he said, To Hebron. So David went up there, and his 2 wives also, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and Abigail the wife of Nabal the Carmelite. And David brought up his men who were with him, each with his household, and they lived in the cities of Hebron. Then the men of Judah came, and there anointed David king over the house of Judah. And they told David, saying, It was the men of Jabesh-Gilead who buried Saul. And David sent messengers to the men of Jabesh-Gilead, and said to them, May you be blessed of Yahweh because you have shown this loving kindness with your Lord, with Saul, and have buried him. So now may Yahweh show loving kindness and truth to you, and I also will show this goodness to you because you have done this thing. So now let your hands be strong and be valiant, for Saul your Lord is dead, and also the house of Judah has anointed me king over them. Now Abner the son of Ner, commander of Saul's army, had taken Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim, and he made him king over Gilead, over the Asherites, over Jezreel, over Ephraim, and over Benjamin, even over all Israel. Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he became king over Israel, and he was king for 2 years. The house of Judah, however, followed David. And the time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. Now Abner the son of Ner went out from from Mahanaim to Gibeon with the servants of Ishbosheth the son of Saul. And Joab the son of Zeruiah, and the servants of David went out and met them by the pool of Gibeon, and they sat down, one on the one side of the pool, and the other on the other side of the pool. Then Abner said to Joab, "Now let the young men arise and hold a contest before us." And Joab said, "Let them arise." So they arose and went over by count, 12 for Benjamin and Ishbosheth the son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. And each one of them seized his opponent by the head and thrust his sword in his opponent's side. So they fell down together. Therefore that place was called Helkath Hazurim, which is in Gibeon. And that day the battle was very severe, and Abner and the men of Israel were defeated before the servants of David. Now the 3 sons of Zeruiah were there, Joab and Abishai and Asahel. And Asahel was as swift-footed as one of the gazelles which is in the field. And Asahel pursued Abner, and did not turn to the right or to the left from following Abner. Then Abner turned to look behind him and said, "Is that you, Asahel?" And he answered, "It is I." So Abner said to him, "Turn to your right or to your left, and seize one of the young men for yourself, and take for yourself his spoil." But Asahel was not willing to turn aside from following him. And Abner repeated again to Asahel, "Turn aside from following me. Why should I strike you to the ground? How then could I lift up my face to your brother Joab?" However, he refused to turn aside. Therefore Abner struck him in the belly with the butt end of the spear, so that the spear came out at his back. And he fell there and died on the spot. And it happened that all who came to the place where Asahel had fallen and died stood still. But Joab and Abishai pursued Abner. Now the sun was going down, and they came to the hill of Ammah, which is in the front of Giah by the way of the wilderness of Gibeon. And the sons of Benjamin gathered together behind Abner and became one band, and they stood on the top of a certain hill. Then Abner called to Joab and said, "Shall the sword devour forever? Do you not know that it will be bitter in the end? How long will you refrain from telling the people to turn back from following their brothers?" And Joab said, "As God lives, if you had not spoken, surely then the people would have only gone away in the morning, each from following his brother." So Joab blew the trumpet, and all the people stood still and pursued Israel no longer, nor did they continue to fight any more. But Abner and his men then went through the Arabah all that night. So they crossed the Jordan, walked all morning, and came to Mahanaim. Goodness. Now Joab returned from following Abner, and he had gathered all the people together, and 19 of David's servants besides Asahel were missing. But the servants of David had struck down many of Benjamin and Abner's men, so that 360 men died. And they took up Asahel and buried him in his father's tomb, which was in Bethlehem. Then Joab and his men went all night until the day dawned at Hebron. And that was 2 Samuel chapter 2. Yeah, I'll pray for you now, Scott. Father God, I ask that you be with Scott. You clear his head, Lord, and help him to be able to hear your voice and have peace. I ask that you heal him completely, Lord, and just love him through this. And we thank you so much for Scott. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, Scott, sleep tight and dream sweet. Get some rest. I will talk to you soon. Message me and let me know how you're doing. me just a moment. Drop these comments. There we go. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. You're welcome, Scott. Love you. If anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. We will be headed into 2 Samuel chapter 3. Just a second here. Okay. Now the war between the house of Saul and the house of David was long, and David grew steadily stronger, but the house of Saul grew weaker continually. And sons were born to David at Hebron. His firstborn was Ammon by Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and his second Chileab by Abigail the wife of Nabal the Carmelite, and the third Absalom the son of Maacah, the daughter of Talmai king of Geshur, and the fourth Adonijah the son of Haggith, and the fifth Shephatiah the son of Abital, and the sixth Ithream by David's wife Eglah. These were born to David at Hebron. Now it happened, while there was war between the house of Saul and the house of David, that Abner was making himself strong in the house of Saul. Now Saul had a concubine whose name was Rizpah, and the daughter of Aiah. And Ishbosheth said to Abner, "Why have you gone into my father's concubine?" Then Abner was very angry over the words of Ishbosheth and said, "Am I a dog's head that belongs to Judah? Today I show loving kindness to the house of Saul your father, to his brothers, and to his friends, and have not delivered you into the hands of David, and yet today you charge me with a guilt concerning the woman? May God do so to Abner, and more also, if as Yahweh has sworn to David, I do not do this for him, to transfer the kingdom from the house of Saul, and to establish the throne of David over Israel and over Judah, from Dan even to Beersheba." And he could no longer respond a word to Abner, because he was afraid of him. Then Abner sent messengers to David in his place, saying, "Whose is the land? Cut your covenant with me, and behold, my hand shall be with you to turn all Israel over to you." And he said, "Good, I will cut a covenant with you, but I ask one thing of you, namely, you shall not see my face until you first bring Michal, Saul's daughter, when you come to see my face." So David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, Saul's son, saying, "Give me my wife Michal, to whom I was betrothed for 100 foreskins of the Philistines." And Ishbosheth sent and took her from her husband, from Paltiel the son of Laish. But her husband went with her, weeping as he went, and followed her as far as Bahurim. Then Abner said to him, "Go, return." So he returned. Now Abner had consultation with the elders of Israel, saying, "In times past you were seeking for David to be king over you. So now do it. For Yahweh has spoken of David, saying, By the hand of my servant David I will save my people Israel from the hand of the Philistines and from the hand of all their enemies." Abner also spoke in the hearing of Benjamin, and in addition Abner went to speak in the hearing of David in Hebron, all that was good in the sight of Israel and in the sight of the whole house of Benjamin. Then Abner and 20 men with him came to David at Hebron, and David made a feast for Abner and the men who were with him. And Abner said to David, "Let me arise and go and gather all Israel to my lord the king, that they may cut a covenant with you, and that you may be king over all that your soul desires." So David sent Abner away, and he went in peace. And behold, the servants of David and Joab came from a raid and brought much spoil with them. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away, and he had gone in peace. Now Joab and all the army that was with him arrived, and they told Joab, saying, "Abner the son of Ner came to the king, and he has sent him away, and he has gone in peace." Then Joab came to the king and said, "What have you done? Behold, Abner came to you. Why then have you sent him away, and he has already gone? You know Abner the son of Ner, that he came to deceive you, and to know of your going out and your coming in, and to know all that you are doing." Then Joab came out from David and sent messengers after Abner, and they brought him back from the well of Sirah. But David did not know it. So when Abner returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside into the middle of the gate to speak with him privately, and there he struck him in the belly so that he died on account of the blood of Asahel his brother. Afterward, David heard it, so he said, I and my kingdom are innocent before Yahweh forever of the blood of Abner the son of Ner. May it whirl on the head of Joab and on all his father's house, and may one who has a discharge, or who is a leper, or who takes hold of a spindle, or who falls by the sword, or who lacks bread, not be cut off from the house of Joab. So Joab and Abishai his brother killed Abner because he had put their brother Asahel to death in the battle at Gibeon. Then David said to Joab and to all the people who were with him, Tear your clothes and gird your sackcloth and lament before Abner. And King David walked behind the bier. Thus they buried Abner in Hebron, and the king lifted up his voice and wept at the grave of Abner, and all the people wept. And the king chanted a lament for Abner and said, Should Abner die as a wicked fool dies? Your hands were not bound, nor your feet put in fetters. As one falls before the unrighteous, you have fallen. And all the people continued to weep over him. Then all the people came to persuade David to eat bread while it was still day, but David swore an oath, saying, May God do so to me, and more also, if I taste bread or anything else before the sun goes down. Now all the people took note of it, and it was good in their sight, just as everything the king did was good in the sight of all the people. So all the people and all Israel knew that day that it had not been the will of the king to put Abner the son of Ner to death. Then the king said to his servants, Do you not know that a prince and a great man has fallen this day in Israel? Thus I am weak today, though anointed king, and these men, the sons of Zeruiah, are too difficult for me. May Yahweh repay the evildoer according to his evil. And that was 2 Samuel chapter 3. I see more have joined us. How are you guys doing tonight? Welcome and God bless you. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay. Give me just a second. I have to fix something in the stream real quick. Oh, okay, Carla. Well, I'm so glad you were here. Sleep tight and dream sweet. Give me just a moment. Okay. Oh, you're welcome. I'm always happy to read to you guys. Okay. 2 Samuel chapter 4. Then Ishbosheth, Saul's son, heard that Abner had died in Hebron, and he lost courage, and all Israel was dismayed. Now Saul's son had 2 men who were commanders of bands. The name of the one was Baanah, and the name of the other Rechab, sons of Rimmon the Beerothite. And the sons of Benjamin, for Beeroth is also considered part of Benjamin, and the Beerothites fled to Gittaim and have been sojourners there until this day. Now Jonathan, Saul's son, had a son crippled in his feet. He was 5 years old when the report of Saul and Jonathan came from Jezreel. And his nurse took him up and fled. And it happened that in her hurry to flee, he fell and became lame. And his name was Mephibosheth. Hugo, I'm so glad you're here. How are you? Are you glad it's the weekend? I hope you've had a good week. Oh, yeah. I hope you sleep well, Katrina. Sleep tight and dream sweet. So the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, Rechab and Baanah, went forth and came to the house of Ishbosheth in the heat of the day, while he was taking his midday rest. They came to the middle of the house as if to get wheat, and they struck him in the belly, and Rechab and Baanah his brother escaped. Thus they came into the house as he was lying on his bed in his bedroom, and they struck him and put him to death and beheaded him. And they took his head and went on the way leading to the Arabah all night. Then they brought the head of Ishbosheth to David at Hebron and said to the king, Behold, the head of Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, your enemy, who sought your life. Thus Yahweh has given my lord the king vengeance this day on Saul and his seed. And David answered Rechab and Baanah his brothers, sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, and said to them, As Yahweh lives, who has redeemed my life from all distress, when one told me, saying, Behold, Saul is dead, and thought he was bringing good news, I seized him and killed him in Ziklag, which was the reward I gave him for his news. How much more, when wicked men have killed a righteous man in his own house on his bed, shall I not now require his blood from your hand and purge you from the earth? Then David commanded the young men, and they killed them and cut off their hands and feet and hung them up beside the pool in Hebron. But they took the head of Ishbosheth and buried it in the grave of Abner in Hebron. And that was 2 Samuel chapter 4. And I'm going to continue on at least through chapter 9. Excuse me. Okay, so I need to fix the stream here real quick to reflect that I am reading further than originally intended. Oh yeah? How was that? I hope you had a good time. Oops. I need to check my stream one more time, because a lot of times it turns off the... No, it didn't this time. Good. So far, the train has not come tonight, so you haven't missed it yet. Although, usually, it's around 10:45, I think. Sometimes 11:15, but if not, then not until 1. So, you may have missed it anyway. Oh, yeah. Well, teen kids, you know, they need a lot of guidance. God bless you for being there to give it to them, you know. Yes, I'm sure you are making a great impact on them. That's wonderful. Welcome to those just joining us. God bless you. I'm about to head into 2 Samuel chapter 5. I will be reading at least through chapter 9 of 2 Samuel tonight. If anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. And I will grab a bottle of water to celebrate your being here, Hugo. There, I'm drinking water. You have brought much lore to the live streams around here, Hugo. The train, the water. Okay. What were you teaching the kids tonight? Or what was the lesson over there? Yes, you make it fun, Hugo. When you're not here, I miss you. It's been a while, too. But I do appreciate it when you're commenting on my other content as well. Okay, 2 Samuel chapter 5. Then all the tribes of Israel came to David at Hebron and said, Behold, we are your bone and your flesh. Previously, when Saul was king over us, you were the one who led us out and brought in Israel. And Yahweh said to you, You will shepherd my people Israel, and you will be a ruler over Israel. So all the elders of Israel came to the king at Hebron, and King David cut a covenant with them in Hebron before Yahweh. Then they anointed David king over Israel. Now David was 30 years old when he became king, and he reigned 40 years. At Hebron he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months, and in Jerusalem he reigned 33 years over all Israel and Judah. Then the king and his men went to Jerusalem against the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land, and they said to David, "You shall not come in here, but the blind and lame will turn you away," thinking, "David cannot enter here." Nevertheless, David captured the fortress of Zion, that is in the city of David. And David said on that day, "Whoever would strike down the Jebusites, let him reach to the lame and the blind, who are hated by David's soul, through the water tunnel." Therefore they said, "The blind or the lame shall not come into the house." Then David lived in the fortress and called it the city of David. And David built all around from the Millo and inward. And David became greater and greater, and Yahweh the God of hosts was with him. Then Hiram, king of Tyre, sent messengers to David with cedar trees and craftsmen of wood and craftsmen of stone walls, and they built a house for David. Thus David knew that Yahweh had established him as king over Israel, and that he had lifted up his kingdom for the sake of his people Israel. And David took more concubines and wives from Jerusalem after he came from Hebron, and more sons and daughters were born to David. Now these are the names of those who were born to him in Jerusalem: Shemua, Shobab, Nathan, Solomon, Ibhar, Elishua, Nepheg, Japhia, Elishama, Eliada, and Eliphalet. Oh, I'm glad you watched that. He'll get a kick out of that. We had a lot of fun with that. You should try. That is super easy to make. It's basically just a pancake with cocoa powder. But the recipe, I doubled it for my recipe, so it made 3 of those big pancakes that we put stuff in. And in the recipe, I put, milk to desired consistency. You want it to be fairly thin so that when you lift up that top layer and fill in the bottom layer, it drips down good. But yeah, those were really good. Most of us felt like the s'mores were the best ones. And definitely have whipped cream on hand, because we had powdered sugar, but whipped cream would have just been, a little lightness added to it, because it's kind of it's more of a dessert than a breakfast for sure. But really good. And I don't know if you could tell, for Christmas, I bought him a little hot plate. It's a 2-burner, like mini stove that we can set on the table to do his videos. We're also going to be making Choco Tacos soon. So definitely follow along if you're enjoying his videos. He doesn't have enough videos or views to even make his own thumbnails. Like, I create the thumbnails and then it's like, oh, you don't have, enough followers to do that. But he does have fun. And on his first video, I don't know if you knew, but he was really inspired by Preppy Kitchen. The guy's name is John, I forget his name now, but so I had tagged him in it, and then I went and I sent him an email, like his from his website or something. I think I actually had to reach out to his assistant. I can't remember. But the guy from Preppy Kitchen actually commented on his very first video, and Shiloh was just, oh my goodness, he was so excited. Oh yeah, I haven't pulled his account up in YouTube Creator, but it actually wants me to like verify the channel. So I put in my phone, and then it says, oh, this number is associated with many accounts. I'm like, that it's my same account. It's like on the same account. What is the deal? But at any rate, he would like to be a chef or a cook, or, he's always making his own little recipes and stuff. And I want to encourage him in that. Okay, I'm going to continue on reading. Then the Philistines heard that they had anointed David king over Israel, so all the Philistines went up to seek out David. And David heard of it and went down to the fortress. Now the Philistines had come and spread themselves out in the valley of Rephaim. Then David asked of Yahweh, saying, Shall I go up against the Philistines? Will you give them into my hand? And Yahweh said to David, Go up, for I will certainly give the Philistines into your hand. So David came to Baal Perazim, and there David struck them down, and he said, Yahweh has broken through my enemies before me, like the breakthrough of waters. Therefore he named that place Baal Perazim, and they forsook their idols there. So David and his men carried them away. Then the Philistines yet again came up and spread themselves out in the valley of Rephaim. So David asked of Yahweh, and he said, You shall not go directly up, circle around behind them, and come at them in front of the balsam trees. And it will be that when you hear the sound of marching in the tops of the balsam trees, then you shall act promptly, for then Yahweh will have gone out before you to strike the camp of the Philistines. Then David did so, just as Yahweh had commanded him, and struck down the Philistines from Geba as far as Gezer. And that was chapter 5 of 2 Samuel. Welcome to those just coming in. Yeah, he's gonna beatbox. We should call him a little beatbox cooker. He's so cute. Steven also has a channel. His is gaming. His is Tiny Dragon. I'll have to send you the link in Discord. He's always wanting to go live, and I'm like, you can't go live. You have to be 16 years old to go live on YouTube. And if you have an adult, you can. And I may do that with him at some point. But for my kids, Steven doesn't show his face, but I think he may have in one video for a little bit, but most of it's just the gameplay on the screen. 2 Samuel chapter 6. Actually, I am going to pop some comments down. In here. Hang on just a second. Here we go. Just 1 second. Yeah, all of my kids at some point or another wanted to be YouTubers. Kenny does not anymore. Avery does have a YouTube channel. His is gaming, and then he was making bracelets and stuff like that for a while as well. But he gets into it for a while, and then he gets tired of it. It's a lot of work to have a YouTube channel, and I'm always telling him that. And of course, when it's the kids, I'm the one doing it. Although Kenny helps Steven a lot with his, but they don't post videos like every day or anything like that. Okay. 2 Samuel chapter 6. Then David again gathered all the chosen men of Israel, 30,000. And David arose and went with all the people who were with him from Baal Judah to bring up from there the ark of God, which is called by the very name of Yahweh of hosts, who is enthroned above the cherubim. And they drove the ark of God on a new cart, that they might bring it from the house of Abinadab, which was on the hill, and Uzzah and Ahio, the sons of Abinadab, were leading the new cart. So they brought it with the ark of God from the house of Abinadab, which was on the hill, and Ahio was walking ahead of the ark. Now David and all the house of Israel were celebrating before Yahweh with all kinds of instruments made of fir wood, and with lyres, harps, tambourines, castanets, and cymbals. Then they came to the threshing floor of Nacon, and Uzzah reached out toward the ark of God and took hold of it, because the oxen nearly upset it, and the anger of Yahweh burned against Uzzah, And God struck him down there for his irreverence, and he died there by the ark of God. And David became angry because of Yahweh's breaking out against Uzzah, and that place is called Perez Uzzah to this day. So David was afraid of Yahweh that day, and he said, "How can the ark of Yahweh come to me?" And David was unwilling to move the ark of Yahweh into the city of David with him. But David took it aside to the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite. Thus the ark of Yahweh remained in the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite 3 months, and Yahweh blessed Obed-Edom and all his household. Then it was told to King David, saying, "Yahweh has blessed the house of Obed-Edom and all that belongs to him, on account of the ark of God." So David went and brought up the ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom into the city of David with gladness. And so it happened that when those who were carrying the ark of Yahweh had gone 6 paces, he sacrificed an ox and a fatling. And David was dancing before Yahweh with all his strength, and David was girded with a linen ephod. So David and all the house of Israel were bringing up the ark of Yahweh with shouting and the sound of the trumpet. Then it happened, as the ark of Yahweh came into the city of David, that Michal, the daughter of Saul, looked out of the window and saw King David leaping and dancing before Yahweh, and she despised him in her heart. And they brought in the ark of Yahweh and placed it in its place inside the tent which David had pitched for it. And David offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before Yahweh. Then David completed offering the burnt offerings and the peace offerings, and he blessed the people in the name of Yahweh of hosts. And he apportioned to all the people, to all the multitude of Israel, both to men and women, a cake of bread and one of dates and one of raisins to each one. Then all the people went each to his house. But David returned to bless his household, and Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet David and said, "How the king of Israel has glorified himself today. He uncovered himself today in the eyes of his servants' maids, as one of the worthless ones shamelessly uncovers himself." So David said to Michal, "It was before Yahweh who chose me above your father and above all his house to appoint me ruler over the people of Yahweh, over Israel. Therefore I will celebrate before Yahweh. And I will be esteemed even more lightly than this, and will be humble in my own eyes. But with the maids of whom you have spoken, with them I will be glorified." And Michal, the daughter of Saul, had no child to the day of her death. And that was 2 Samuel chapter 6. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay, I'm just going to pop these comments down in the chat. There we go. Oops, it didn't paste. There we go. 2 Samuel chapter 7. I'm going to drink some of my water real quick, and then I will carry on. Okay. Now it happened when the king inhabited his house, and Yahweh had given him rest on every side from all his enemies, that the king said to Nathan the prophet, "See now, I inhabit a house of cedar, but the ark of God inhabits tent curtains." So Nathan said to the king, "Go, do all that is in your heart, for Yahweh is with you." Now it happened in the same night that the word of Yahweh came to Nathan, saying, "Go and say to my servant David, thus says Yahweh, are you the one who would build me a house to inhabit? For I have not inhabited a house since the day I brought up the sons of Israel from Egypt, even to this day. But I have been going about in a tent, even in a tabernacle. Wherever I have gone about with all the sons of Israel, did I speak a word with one of the tribes of Israel, which I commanded to shepherd my people Israel, saying, Why have you not built me a house of cedar? So now, thus you shall say to my servant David, Thus says Yahweh of hosts, I myself took you from the pasture, from following the sheep, to be ruler over my people Israel. And I have been with you wherever you have gone, and have cut off all your enemies from before you. And I will make you a great name, like the name of the great men who are on the earth. And I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and will plant them, that they may dwell in their own place and not be disturbed again. And the unrighteous will not afflict them any more as formerly, even from the day that I commanded judges to be over my people Israel, and I will give you rest from all your enemies. Yahweh also declares to you that Yahweh will make a house for you. When your days are fulfilled and you lie down with your fathers, I will raise up one of your seed after you, who will come forth from your own body, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. I will be a father to him, and he will be a son to me. When he commits iniquity, I will reprove him with the rod of men and the strikes from the sons of men. But my loving kindness shall not be removed from him, as I removed it from Saul, whom I removed from before you. And your house and your kingdom shall endure before me forever. Your throne shall be established forever. According to all these words and according to all this vision, so Nathan spoke to David. Oh, good. Good job. I was just going to ask you how school's going. Oh, no, I forgot to set my drink down. Keep up the good work. Then David the king went in and sat before Yahweh, and he said, Who am I, O Lord Yahweh, and what is my house that you have brought me this far? And yet this was a small thing in your eyes, O Lord Yahweh, for you have spoken also of the house of your slave concerning the distant future. And this is the law of man, O Lord Yahweh. And again, what more can David say to you? And you know your slave, O Lord Yahweh. For the sake of your word and according to your own heart, you have done all this greatness to let your slave know. For this reason you are great, O Lord Yahweh, for there is none like you, and there is no God besides you, according to all that we have heard with our ears. And what one nation on the earth is like your people Israel, whom God went to redeem for himself as a people, and to make a name for himself, and to do a great thing for you, and awesome things for your land, before your people whom you have redeemed for yourself from Egypt, from nations and their gods. Yet you have established for yourself your people Israel as your own people forever, and you, O Yahweh, have become their God. So now, O Yahweh God, the word that you have spoken concerning your slave and concerning his house, establish it forever, and do as you have spoken, that your name may be magnified forever. Oh, my throat gurgled. By saying, Yahweh of hosts is God over Israel. And the house of your servant David shall be established before you. For you, O Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, have revealed in the hearing of your slave, saying, I will build you a house. Therefore your slave has found courage in his heart to pray this prayer to you. So now, O Lord Yahweh, you are God, and your words are truth, and you have promised this good thing to your slave. So now be pleased and bless the house of your slave, that it may be forever before you. For you, O Lord Yahweh, have spoken, and with your blessing may the house of your slave be blessed forever. And that was 2 Samuel chapter 7. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. How are you guys doing tonight? Give me just a moment to put some comments down in the chat. Taking just a minute. Okay. I really wish there was a way to set the comments up to just automatically go when I want them to go, because I set them up ahead of, I prepared them ahead of the live, but then I can't really comment them while I'm reading. Okay. I've got them in the one stream, and now I can put them in the other. You're welcome, Hugo. I know school is a lot. It was never my thing, that's for sure. So good on you. Okay, 2 Samuel chapter 8. Now it happened afterwards that David struck the Philistines and subdued them. And David took control of the chief city from the hand of the Philistines. He also struck Moab and measured them with the line, making them lie down on the ground. And he measured 2 lines to put to death, and 1 full line to keep alive. And the Moabites became servants to David, bringing tribute. Then David struck Hadadezer, the son of Rehob, king of Zobah, as he went to restore his power at the river. And David captured from him 1,700 horsemen and 20,000 foot soldiers. And David hamstrung all the chariot horses, but left enough of them for 100 chariots. Then the Arameans of Damascus came to help Hadadezer, king of Zobah, and David struck down 22,000 Arameans. Then David placed garrisons among the Arameans of Damascus, and the Arameans became servants to David, bringing tribute. And Yahweh granted salvation to David wherever he went. And David took the small shields of gold, which were carried by the servants of Hadadezer, and brought them to Jerusalem. Also from Beta and from Berothai, cities of Hadadezer, king of David, took a very large amount of bronze. Then Toi, king of Hamath, heard that David had struck down all the military force of Hadadezer. So Toi sent Joram, his son, to King David to greet him and to bless him, because he had fought against Hadadezer and struck him down, for Hadadezer had been at war with Toi. And in Joram's hand were articles of silver, of gold, and of bronze. King David also set these apart as holy to Yahweh, with the silver and the gold that he had set apart as holy from all the nations which he had subdued, from Aram, Moab, the sons of Ammon, the Philistines, Amalek, and from the spoil of Hadadezer, son of Rehob, king of Zobah. So David made a name for himself when he returned from striking down 18,000 Arameans in the Valley of Salt. Then he placed garrisons in Edom. In all Edom he placed garrisons, and all the Edomites became servants to David. And Yahweh granted salvation to David wherever he went. So David reigned over all Israel, and David was doing justice and righteousness for all his people. Now Joab the son of Zeruiah was over the army, and Jehoshaphat the son of Ahilud was recorder. And Zadok the son of Ahitub and Ahimelech the son of Abiathar were priests. And Seraiah was scribe, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada was over the Kerethites and the Pelethites, and the sons of David were priests. And that was 2 Samuel chapter 8. I see more people are joining. God bless you. How are you guys doing on this wonderful Friday night? We're almost into Saturday, huh? Thank God for the weekend. Just going to place down these comments again. Almost done. It's kind of hard to run several streams all at the same time. All right, one last comment, and I will be done with that and carry on reading into chapter 9. Yes. Yes, we have breath in our lungs and another day to praise him with it. Okay, so I'm going to take a drink. And actually, I think I'm going to turn on my heater. Hi, Wheezy. Are you cozy? Okay. Yeah, my actual heater in my room broke, and so I just have a space heater, and I can't run it all the time because if you run the microwave and it's plugged in, it pops the breaker. I just haven't had the money to fix the heater in my room, so. And the heater in Stephen and Shiloh's room is the same way. It's really frustrating. Especially since we've only lived here like 5 years. And it was put in at that time, the heat system. So, hello, Easy. Here, I'll move this out of your way. Wheezy is letting me know that she's already let me stay up past bedtime. She got on this schedule of where she starts herding me to bed around 11:15, but the last few days she's let it go till closer to midnight. But then she wants me in bed. We'll just have our snuggle time here, Wheezy. Come here. Oh, you're so pretty. I had ordered a harness for her with a leash, and it's got this pretty bow on it, and it kind of looks like little wings. And I put it on her, and I put it on loosely just so she could kind of adjust to it. And she had a spaz attack, flipped around, but then because it was loose, it got hooked in her mouth. And I took it off of her, so we're going to have to try again another time. But she looked so cute. She's got a really calm temper, so I'm thinking she could be good to take on walks. But I may have to get one of those bags, those clear bags that cats go around in instead. You're a good kitten. Okay, 2 Samuel chapter 9. Then David said, "Is there yet anyone left of the house of Saul, that I may show him loving kindness for Jonathan's sake?" Now there was a servant of the house of Saul, whose name was Ziba, and they called him to David, and the king said to him, "Are you Ziba?" And he said, "I am your servant." And the king said, "Is there not yet anyone of the house of Saul, to whom I may show the loving kindness of God?" And Ziba said to the king, "There is still a son of Jonathan who is crippled in both feet." So the king said to him, "Where is he?" And Ziba said to the king, "Behold, he is in the house of Machir, the son of Ammiel, in Lo-debar." Then King David sent and took him from the house of Machir, the son of Ammiel, from Lo-debar. So Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, came to David and fell on his face and prostrated himself. And David said, "Mephibosheth." And he said, "Here is your servant." And David said to him, "Do not fear, for I will surely show loving kindness to you for the sake of your father Jonathan, and will restore to you all the land of your grandfather Saul, and you shall eat at my table continually." So he prostrated himself and said, "What is your servant that you should regard a dead dog like me?" Then the king called Saul's young man Ziba and said to him, "All that belonged to Saul and to all his house I have given to your master's grandson. And you and your sons and your servants shall cultivate the land for him, and you shall bring in the produce, so that your master's grandson may have food and eat of it. Nevertheless, Mephibosheth, your master's grandson, shall eat at my table continually." Now Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Then Ziba said to the king, "According to all that my lord the king commands his servant, so your servant will do." So Mephibosheth ate at David's table as one of the king's sons. Now Mephibosheth had a young son whose name was Micah. And maybe it's Micah? I'm not sure. I'm going to go with Micah. And all who lived in the house of Ziba were servants to Mephibosheth. So Mephibosheth lived in Jerusalem, for he ate at the king's table continually. Now he was lame in both feet. And that was 2 Samuel chapter 9. And since we still have people with ears to hear, I will continue. Oh, I'll type it down here. That's Wheezy. Her name is actually Cyber Eloise. Like this. And I'm big on nicknames. You've probably noticed. So it just has kind of morphed into Wheezy. Or Queenie Face. But I call her Queen Wheezy. Oh my goodness, she is, I love her tremendously. She's a wonderful, wonderful kitten. Yeah, my son was spelling it like this, and he likes to call her Weezer because he likes the band Weezer. But it's Wheezy from Eloise, so it's Oisey. She's just precious. I love all of the kitties, but she has a special part of my heart, that's for sure. So I am going to continue reading, as I was saying, since we have people here to listen. So let me just edit my stream to reflect that I'm continuing to read. And then I will continue to read. Let's see. I think we'll go at least through chapter 14. Give me just 1 second. Ah, goodness. My mouse is so touchy. If anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay. Now it happened afterwards that the king of the sons of Ammon died, and Hanun his son became king in his place. So David said, I will show loving kindness to Hanun the son of Nahash, just as his father showed loving kindness to me. So David sent to comfort him concerning his father by the hand of his servants. And David's servants came to the land of the sons of Ammon. But the princes of the sons of Ammon said to Hanun their lord, In your eyes, is David honoring your father because he has sent comforters to you? Has David not sent his servants to you in order to search the city, to spy it out and overthrow it? So Hanun took David's servants and shaved off half of their beards and cut off their garments in the middle as far as their hips and sent them away. Then they told it to David, and he sent to meet them, for the men were greatly dishonored. And the king said, Stay at Jericho until your beards grow, and then return. Then the sons of Ammon saw that they had become odious to David. So the sons of Ammon sent and hired the Arameans of Beth-rehob and the Arameans of Zobah, 20,000 foot soldiers, and the king of Maacah with 1,000 men, and the men of Tob with 12,000 men. Then David heard of it and sent Joab and all the army, the mighty men. And the sons of Ammon came out and arranged themselves for battle at the entrance of the gate of the city. But the Arameans of Zobah and of Rehob and the men of Tob and Maacah were by themselves in the field. Then Joab saw that the battle was set against him from the front and from the rear. So he chose from all the choice men of Israel, and they arranged themselves to meet the Arameans. But the remainder of the people he put in the hand of Abishai his brother, and he arranged them to meet the sons of Ammon. And he said, If the Arameans are too strong for me, then you shall save me. But if the sons of Ammon are too strong for you, then I will come to save you. Be strong, and let us show strength for the sake of our people and for the cities of our God. And may Yahweh do what is good in his sight. So Joab and the people were with him. Who were with him, drew near for the battle against the Arameans, and they fled before him. Now the sons of Ammon saw that the Arameans fled, so they also fled before Abishai and came into the city. Then Joab returned from fighting against the sons of Ammon and came to Jerusalem. Then the Arameans saw that they had been defeated by Israel. So they gathered themselves together, and Hadadezer sent and brought out the Arameans who were beyond the river, and they came to Helam, and Shobach, the commander of the army of Hadadezer, led them. And it was told to David, so he gathered all Israel together and crossed the Jordan and came to Helam. And the Arameans arranged themselves to meet David and fought against him. But the Arameans fled before Israel, and David killed of the Arameans 700 charioteers and 40,000 horsemen, and struck down Shobach, the commander of their army, and he died there. Then all the kings, the servants of Hadadezer, saw that they were defeated by Israel, so they made peace with Israel and served them. And the Arameans were afraid to save the sons of Ammon anymore. And that was 2 Samuel chapter 10. Okay. Just 1 second. Just have to fix the stream real quick, and I will continue reading. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. No. Sorry. There we go. Ah, YouTube or my computer, one or both, is lagging a little bit here. Okay, save that. Yeah, I'm close to 6K. What is it at now? Let me see. Yeah, 5,943. I think a lot of them lately have come for the kibbies or the funny videos. I've had a couple that got quite a bit of traction. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. And I would sure love it if you would hit like and subscribe. And also in the pinned comment, there's the link to join us over on the Discord server. We would love to get to know you over there. Excuse me. Yeah, I think I'm coming down with a cold. I don't love it, that's for sure. Second Samuel chapter 11. Oh, we're to David and Bathsheba. I think everybody knows this story, huh? Ah, my screen is... I don't know if my mouse is jumpy. I know it is, but it's not that jumpy. Yeah, that's what I've been bringing people in with, Hugo, because I kind of had kept them separate. That's why I have the cat channel. But a lot of people seem to like the combination. So it'll be like the kittens playing or a funny video, but then it'll have a Bible verse over it. And people are really enjoying it. So praise God. Now it happened in the spring, at the time when kings go out to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the sons of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David stayed at Jerusalem. Now when evening came, David arose from his bed and walked around on the roof of the king's house, and from the roof he saw a woman bathing, and the woman was very beautiful in appearance. So David sent and inquired about the woman. And one said, "Is this not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite?" Then David sent messengers and took her, and she came to him, and he lay with her. And when she had purified herself from her uncleanness, she returned to her house. And the woman became pregnant, and she sent and told David and said, "I am pregnant." Then David sent to Joab, saying, "Send me Uriah the Hittite." So Joab sent Uriah to David. When Uriah came to him, David asked concerning the state of Joab and the state of the people and the state of the war. Then David said to Uriah, "Go down to your house and wash your feet." And Uriah went out of the king's house, and a present from the king went out after him. But Uriah lay down at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and did not go down to his house. Then they told David, saying, "Uriah did not go down to his house." And David said to Uriah, "Have you not come from a journey? Why did you not go down to your house?" And Uriah said to David, "The ark and Israel and Judah are staying in booths, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are camping in the open field. Shall I then go to my house to eat and to drink, and to lie with my wife? By your life and the life of your soul, I will not do this thing." Then David said to Uriah, "Stay here today also, and tomorrow I will send you out." So Uriah remained in Jerusalem that day and the next. Now David called him, and he ate and drank before him, and he made him drunk. And in the evening he went out to lie on his bed with his lord's servants, but he did not go down to his house. Now it happened in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he had written in the letter, saying, "Place Uriah in the front line of the fiercest battle and withdraw from him, so that he may be struck down and die." So awful. So it was, as Joab kept watch on the city, that he put Uriah at the place where he knew there were valiant men. And the men of the city went out and fought against Joab, and some of the people among David's servants fell, and Uriah the Hittite also died. Then Joab sent and told David all the events of the war. And he commanded the messenger, saying, when you have finished telling all the events of the war to the king, and if it happens that the king's wrath rises and he says to you, why did you approach the city to fight? Did you not know that they would shoot from the wall? Who struck down Abimelech the son of Jerubbesheth? Did not a woman cast an upper millstone on him from the wall, so he died at Tebez? Why did you approach the wall? Then you shall say, your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. So the messenger went and came and told David all that Joab had sent him to tell. And the messenger said to David, the men prevailed against us and came out against us in the field, but we pressed them as far as the entrance of the gate. And the archers shot at your servants from the wall. So some of the king's servants died, and your servant Uriah the Hittite also died. Then David said to the messenger, thus you shall say to Joab, do not let this thing be evil in your sight, for the sword devours one as well as another. Make your battle against the city stronger and tear it down, and so strengthen him. Then the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah her husband had died, so she lamented over her husband. Then the time of mourning passed by, and David sent and gathered her to his house, and she became his wife. Then she bore him a son, but the thing that David had done was evil in the sight of Yahweh. You don't say. For sure. Okay, so I will be carrying on into 2 Samuel chapter 12 in just a moment. I do need to grab something to drink. I am drinking water, but my throat gets sore and feels gummy. So the carbonation tends to help clear it up a little bit better. Oh no, my Pepsi is completely frozen. Okay. Every time I change the temperature, I try to lower it, and it just doesn't seem to help. This little fridge is a pain. Oh, this one is super cold too. I don't know if you saw that video. I made a short that I posted earlier today. Not many people saw it, but it's me opening a Pepsi, and it's super cooled. So after it opens, it slowly freezes, like right before your eyes. It's really kind of cool, but also it's gotten old because I just want a Pepsi, you know? Oh, this one is good. I can still drink it. It's kind of like a slushie. I see more are joining us. Welcome and God bless you. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Oh, no worries, Hugo. What happens after an ad? Does it start you where my live was at before the ad, or does it just bring you back to where I am currently? The ads are kind of a pain. But I know that oftentimes you're also doing dishes, or sometimes you step away to read the Bible and pray with your siblings. But you're not like beholden to me or anything, but I do appreciate you saying so. Honestly, I'm just glad you're here. I've missed having you around. How is your grandmother doing? Oh, no, really? You know what? I'm going to change it. I'm going to take off automatic ads. And then I'll just hit the add button between chapters so that doesn't happen. Let me go adjust that right now because that's frustrating. I thought it would, you know, kind of put you at where you had left off at. That's silly. Why do they do it the way they do? Ah. Okay, here. I'm going to change it to manual. it's okay if I forgot or if I forget. I don't want it to be that way. Although I can't control how the ads run in the vertical stream. So, oh, excuse me, I had a hiccup. So those in the other stream, you know, that's just going to do whatever YouTube does because I don't have the option to send ads on that one, I don't think. Let me see. Yeah, see, I don't even have that ability over there on that stream. Oops, almost ended it. Okay. Oh man, that Pepsi's a perfect temperature. And the little ice chunks, it's fun. Oh, you haven't gotten any ads in the vertical stream? Yeah, I know. She must have a couple weeks left that she still has to be there. Is she understanding why she's there, or is that still a struggle? Because I've been praying for her, and I will continue to do so. My grandma had basically that same thing happen. She broke her hip, and they actually, she had very severe dementia, and they opted not to operate because she was just very fragile, and she was close anyway to passing away. And it would have just been, you know, so hard on her. But then it was like, I was so worried about the level of pain, you know? Yeah. Yeah, we've had discussions about that. I think it was Carla and I. Oh, no. Oh, she hasn't been around for a while. It was Robin and I were talking about this a while back, and we were kind of thinking that maybe, you know, they're even less aware than we think. Like, either their soul has already departed, or it's communing with God. There's a lot of different stuff out there you can read on that. But it is terribly sad and hard to see our loved ones. I was a med aid caregiver years back, and we had quite a few people with dementia, and like we had one lady that would always come out in the hall in the middle of the night and, you know, say, "Is my son here?" And you had to kind of shine her on. "Oh, we'll give him a call." And then the next time you'd say, "Oh, you know what? He called and he said, you go ahead and sleep here tonight and he'll pick you up in the morning," because then of course she would forget. So hopefully it would relax her enough that she would rest. But you could just see it in her eyes, that the confusion and wondering why. And then she'd be like, "Oh, okay," you know, and it just broke your heart. It's like, do you lie or, you know, it was really hard to do. Yeah, for sure, Hugo. Was she a believer? Is she a believer? I'm curious because I've seen a lot of videos, particularly lately, where people will forget everything, but then you ask them about Jesus and they remember Jesus. So it would be interesting to hear your grandma's perspective on that. Let's see. Yeah, my grandma is always worrying about my dad, saying he hasn't ate or where he is and stuff like that. Yeah. You never stop worrying about your kids, do you? Father God, what is your, or I'll just call her Grandma. Father God, we lift up Hugo's grandma before you tonight again, Father, and we ask that you just bring her peace. Help her to feel your presence. Help her to know you and to remember you, Lord, and bless her family with peace and strength through this, Lord. And just help her to be a living testimony to your kindness, your loving kindness, your peace, and your healing, Lord. And we ask that you just have your hand and your arms around this family, Lord, and just help them to feel you there and to trust in you. And we thank you, Father, for his grandma who has made a wonderful, amazing family in your light, Lord, and just carried your love down through generations, Lord, so that Hugo could come here and bless us and bless those in the youth group and everybody that he touches, Lord. And we just thank you for her and his whole family and for Hugo, Lord. And we ask that you bless them. In Jesus' name, amen. Sorry, I'm not I'm not super eloquent, and the thing is I oftentimes start to immediately get emotional, sorry, when I pray. And then I don't know how to vocalize, what I'm feeling. So, but God hears us and he knows, and he is with you guys. You're welcome. Okay, so 2 Samuel chapter 12. Then Yahweh sent Nathan to David, and he came to him and said, There were 2 men in one city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had a great many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing except one little ewe lamb, which he bought and nourished, and it grew up together with him and his children. It would eat his morsel of bread and drink of his cup and lie in his bosom, and was like a daughter to him. Now a visitor came to the rich man, and he was unwilling to take from his own flock or his own herd to prepare for the traveler who had come to him. Rather, he took the poor man's ewe lamb and prepared it for the man who had come to him. Then David's anger burned greatly against the man, and he said to Nathan, As Yahweh lives, surely the man who has done this deserves to die, and he must make restitution for the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing and had no compassion. Excuse me. Nathan then said to David, You are the man. Thus says Yahweh, the God of Israel. It is I who anointed you king over Israel, and it is I who delivered you from the hand of Saul. I also gave you your master's house and your master's wives into your care, and I gave you the house of Israel and Judah. And if that had been too little, I would have added to you many more things like these. Why have you despised the word of Yahweh by doing evil in his sight? You have struck down Uriah the Hittite with the sword, have taken his wife to be your wife, and have killed him with the sword of the sons of Ammon. So now the sword shall never depart from your house, because you have despised me and have taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be your wife. Thus says Yahweh, Behold, I will raise up evil against you from your own household. I will even take your wives from before your sight and give them to your companion, and he will lie with your wives in the sight of the sun. Indeed, you did it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun. That's what people need to remember, that, everything done in darkness comes to light, and you can't hide your sin from God. And it's the same as when people take, like when you're fasting or things like that you're doing to build a closer relationship to God. And you do it where everybody knows, oh, look at me, I'm fasting, I'm so pious, I'm so holy, and look at me, I'm suffering for God. It goes both ways. You have your reward before men, or you have your reward before God. And if you sin in darkness, God's going to bring it to light, and he's going to show everybody, right? It's, we all sin, we all fall short of the glory of God, and praise God for his son and the forgiveness that we can be granted, that we surely do not deserve. Anyway, I do go on. Then David said to Nathan, I have sinned against Yahweh. And Nathan said to David, Yahweh also has taken away your sin. You shall not die. However, because by this deed you have given occasion to the enemies of Yahweh to blaspheme, the son also that is born to you shall surely die. And Nathan went to his house. Then Yahweh smote the child that Uriah's wife bore to David, so that he was very sick. David therefore sought God about the boy, and David fasted and went and spent the night lying on the ground. And the elders of his household stood beside him in order to raise him up from the ground, but he was unwilling and would not eat food with them. Then it happened on the 7th day that the child died, and the servants of David were afraid to tell him that the child was dead. For they said, Behold, while the child was still alive, we spoke to him, and he did not listen to our voice. How then can we tell him that the child has died? He might do himself harm. And David saw that his servants were whispering together, so David discerned that the child had died. So David said to his servants, Has the child died? And they said, He has died. So David arose from the ground, washed, anointed himself, and changed his clothes, and he came into the house of Yahweh and worshipped. Then he came to his own house, and he asked, and they set food before him, and he ate. Then his servants said to him, What is this thing that you have done? While the child was alive, you fasted and wept, but when the child died, you arose and ate food. Then he said, While the child was still alive, I fasted and wept, for I said, Who knows, Yahweh may be gracious to me, that the child may live. But now he has died, why should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I will go to him, but he will not return to me. Oh, hi, Matthew. How are you doing tonight? God bless you. Excuse me. Then David comforted his wife Bathsheba and went into her and lay with her, and she gave birth to a son, and he named him Solomon. Now Yahweh loved him and sent word by the hand of Nathan the prophet, and he named him Jedediah for the sake of Yahweh. Then Joab fought against Rabbah of the sons of Ammon and captured the royal city. And Joab sent messengers to David and said, I have fought against Rabbah. I still think it's Rabbah. I have even captured the city of waters. So now gather the rest of the people together and camp against the city and capture it, lest I capture the city myself and it be named after me. So David gathered all the people and went to Rabbah. We're going with Rabbah. Fought against it and captured it. Then he took the crown of their king from his head, and its weight was a talent of gold. And in it was a precious stone, and it was placed on David's head. And he brought out the spoil of the city in a very great amount. He also brought out the people who were in it, and set them up with saws, sharp iron instruments, and iron axes, and made them pass through the brick kiln. And thus he used to do to all the cities of the sons of Ammon. Then David and all the people returned to Jerusalem. And that was 2 Samuel chapter 12. Okay, so now I will insert an ad so it doesn't interrupt the stream. I'm so sorry. I'm glad you told me about that, Hugo. So for those who don't have ads, I'll just be turning off my fan because it has gotten too cold in here. And I am going to read at least 2 more chapters. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm going to take a drink real quick before I carry on reading. I really don't want to get sick, but you can probably hear it in my voice. I am definitely getting a cold. Okay. In fact, while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to have a little bit of honey to coat my throat so that it doesn't get sore. I wish I had Manuka honey, but at least this is raw honey. Oh, good. What were your ads of, Hugo? Welcome. I see more people are joining. God bless each of you. I'm so glad you're here. I'm actually going to take some ibuprofen here real quick. If I don't knock everything over first. A baseball ad, Fubo TV. I'm not familiar with Fubo. No, it doesn't. It says, like, I'll click the button and it says an ad placement or an ad has begun or something like that. And then it doesn't say when it's done. I don't think. I didn't notice it do it anyway. Okay. Now I'll take my pills and then I will continue on into 2 Samuel chapter 13. If anybody needs prayer, again, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay. Now it happened afterwards that Absalom, the son of David, had a beautiful sister whose name was Tamar, and Ammon, the son of David, loved her. And Ammon was so distressed because of his sister Tamar that he made himself ill, for she was a virgin. So it was hard in Amnon's sight to do anything to her. But Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of... My floor is shaking. I wonder if the train is coming. Occasionally, I feel it before I actually hear it. Oh, well, here, I'm going to do one real quick so that I can tell you what happened. I don't like to do this, but let's see what it does so I can tell you. Okay. Nope, it just says ads inserted. Learn more. Oh, yeah, nope. It just says ads inserted. Okay. Is it finished yet? What does what mean? It just says ads inserted. It doesn't give me a timer down or anything. I wish it would. It's kind of silly. Let me see. Matthew said. Yeah, it just says ads inserted. Like, I pressed it. It did an ad. Did it give you an ad? Kind of. I wish that they would just be more clear about how things work. Oh, yeah, well, there's different kinds of ads. Sometimes there's there's skippable ads, there's unskippable ads, there's all sorts of different things that they can do. Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, I don't know why they do that where it takes you out of the live. It should just, be on the side or something. I don't know. Give me just a quick second here. And okay, so so Matthew, God does do some uncomfortable things, that simply have to be done in a world of sin. God never intended for us to be comfortable in sin, or to have to punish us in these ways. But as far as his infant son dying like that, some people get mad at God for that because we think as humans think, we're not thinking on God's level. Some people think God didn't deal harshly enough with David, and some people think that this was just a horrible way to go about it, right? And it says here, David would never again have peace in his house. He would be publicly shamed for his private sin. And at the apex, his son would die. He told him that this would happen ahead of time. To me, it's like, I understand where you're coming from, because I feel like Beersheba, but because, yes, she slept with him when she was married, but he was a king. It's not like she would have had a whole lot of choice about it. But let me see. In an honor-based culture, some things were worse than death, like public humiliation. And when people say God sent the illness that killed the child, that he was unjustly punishing the child. However, from God's perspective, he was not punishing the child, he was punishing David. And if you think about it, the baby then went to be with God, right? Oh. Uh-oh. I had a feeling there was an issue. Sorry, I was reading from a different screen and didn't see. Let me see. You think what I'm thinking there, Hugo, that's just... Yeah, I'm guessing. That's why you... Yeah, okay. All right. I figured that was the case. Immediately, for some reason, the spidey senses tingled upon entrance there. But that's okay. I figure other people probably have the same kind of question. I mean, for me, it's just, yeah, it's sad from a human standpoint, but also we aren't God. And some things, as a believer, you just understand that his ways are higher, So it was hard in Amnon's sight. Oh, goodness. To do anything to her. But Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shimeah, David's brother, and Jonadab was a very shrewd man. And he said to him, O son of the king, why are you so depressed morning after morning? Will you not tell me? Then Amnon said to him, I am in love with Tamar, the sister of my brother Absalom. Jonadab then said to him, Lie down on your bed and pretend to be ill, and your father will come to see you, and you will say to him, Please let my sister Tamar come and give me some food to eat, and let her prepare the food in my sight, that I may see it and eat from her hand. So Amnon lay down and pretended to be ill, and the king came to see him. And Amnon said to the king, Please let my sister Tamar come and make me a couple of cakes in my sight, that I may eat from her hand. Then David sent to the house for Tamar, saying, Go now to your brother Amnon's house and prepare food for him. So Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house, and he was lying down. And she took dough, kneaded it, made cakes in his sight, and baked the cakes. And she took the pan and dished them out before him, but he refused to eat. And Amnon said, Have everyone go out from me. So everyone went out from him. Then Amnon said to Tamar, Bring the food into the bedroom, that I may eat from your hand. So Tamar took the cakes which she had made, and brought them into the bedroom to her brother Amnon. Then she brought them near to him to eat, but he took hold of her and said to her, Come, lie with me, my sister. But she said to him, No, my brother, do not violate me, for such a thing is not done in Israel. Do not do this disgraceful thing. As for me, where could I get rid of my reproach? And as for you, you will be like one of the wicked fools in Israel. So now, please speak to the king, for he will not withhold me from you. But he was not willing to listen to her voice. Now he was stronger than she, so he violated her and lay with her. Then Amnon hated her with a very great hatred, for the hatred with which he hated her was greater than the love with which he had loved her. And Amnon said to her, Get up, go away. But she said to him, No, because this wrong in sending me away is greater than the other that you have done to me. But he was not willing to listen to her. Then he called his young man who attended him and said, Now cast this woman out of my presence, and lock the door behind her. Now she had on a long-sleeved garment, for in the manner the virgin daughters of the king dressed themselves in robes. Then his attendant took her out and locked the door behind her. Then Tamar put ashes on her head and tore her long-sleeved garment, which was on her, and she put her hand on her head and went away, crying aloud as she went. So Absalom, her brother, said to her, Has Ammon, your brother, been with you? But now keep silent, my sister. He is your brother. Do not take this matter to heart." So Tamar remained and was desolate in her brother Absalom's house. Now, when King David heard of all these matters, he was very angry. But Absalom did not speak to Amnon, either good or bad, for Absalom hated Amnon because he had violated his sister Tamar. Now it happened after 2 full years that Absalom had sheep shearers in Baal Hazor, which is near Ephraim, all the king's sons. Okay, Hugo. God bless you. I'm glad you were here. And Absalom came to the king and said, "Behold, now your servant has sheep shearers. Please let the king and his servant go with your servant." But the king said to Absalom, "No, my son, we should not all go, for we will be burdensome to you." Although he urged him, he was not willing to go, but blessed him. Then Absalom said, "If not, please let my brother Amnon go with us." And the king said to him, "Why should he go with you?" But Absalom urged him, so he sent Amnon and all the king's sons with him. Then Absalom commanded his young men, saying, "See now, when Amnon's heart is merry with wine, and when I say to you, 'Strike Amnon,' then put him to death. Do not fear, have not I myself commanded you? Be strong and be valiant." Thus the young men of Absalom did to Amnon just as Absalom had commanded. Then all the king's sons arose, and each mounted his mule and fled. Now it was while they were on the way that the report came to David, saying, "Absalom has struck down all the king's sons, and not one of them is left." Then the king arose, tore his clothes, and lay on the ground, and all his servants were standing by with clothes torn. But Jonadab, the son of Shimeah, David's brother, answered and said, "Do not let my lord suppose they have put to death all the young men, the king's sons, for Amnon alone has died, because by the intent of Absalom this has been set since the day that he violated his sister Tamar. So now, do not let my lord the king take the report to heart, saying all the king's sons have died, for only Amnon has died." Then Absalom fled, and the young man who was the watchman raised his eyes and looked, and behold, many people were coming from the road behind him by the side of the mountain. And Jonadab said to the king, "Behold, the king's sons have come, according to your servant's word." So it happened. As soon as he had finished speaking, behold, the king's sons came and lifted their voices and wept, and also the king and all his servants wept very bitterly. Now Absalom had fled and went to Talmai. Oh, Hugo just left, and there's the train. Oh no. Doesn't it just figure? Now Absalom had fled and went to Talmai, the son of Ammihed, the king of Geshur, and David mourned for his son every day. So Absalom had fled and gone to Geshur, and was there 3 years. And the heart of King David was consumed with going out to Absalom, for he was comforted concerning Amnon, since he had died. And I am going to pause my reading for a second while the train goes by, because it's pretty loud. But then I will read one final chapter, and it will be 2 Samuel chapter 14. And I will read that here in just a second. I really can't believe the train chose to come right after Hugo left. It's loud, isn't it, Pernaby? I think my noise gate muffles it somewhat for the mainstream, but not in the mobile stream. Okay, so 2 Samuel chapter 14. Now Joab the son of Zeruiah knew that the king's heart was inclined toward Absalom. So Joab sent to Tekoa and brought a wise woman from there and said to her, "Please pretend to be a mourner and put on mourning garments now, and do not anoint yourself with oil, but be like a woman who has been mourning for the dead many days. Then you shall go to the king and speak to him in this manner." So Joab put the words in her mouth. So the woman of Tekoa spoke to the king, and she fell on her face to the ground and prostrated herself and said, Save, O king. And the king said to her, What is your trouble? And she answered, Truly I am a widow. My husband has died, and your servant woman had 2 sons. But the 2 of them struggled together in the field, and there was no one to deliver between them. So one struck the other and put him to death. And behold, the whole family has risen against your servant woman, and they said, Hand over the one who struck his brother, and we may put him to death for the life of his brother whom he killed, and destroy the heir also. Thus they will extinguish my coal which remains, so as to leave my husband neither name nor remnant on the face of the earth. Then the king said to the woman, Go to your house, and I will give a command concerning you. And the woman of Tekoa said to the king, O my lord, the king, the iniquity is on me and my father's house, but the king and his throne are guiltless. So the king said, Whoever speaks to you, bring him to me, and he will not touch you any more. Then she said, Please let the king remember Yahweh your God, so that the avenger of blood will not continue to bring about ruin, so that they would not destroy my son. And he said, As Yahweh lives, not one hair of your son shall fall to the ground. Then the woman said, Please let your servant woman speak a word to my lord the king. And he said, Speak. Then the woman said, Why then have you thought up such a thing against the people of God? For in speaking this word, the king is as one who is guilty, in that the king does not bring back his banished one. For we will surely die, and are like water spilled on the ground, which cannot be gathered up again. Yet God does not take away life, but thinks up ways so that the banished one will not be cast out from him. So now, the reason I have come to speak this word to my lord the king is that the people have made me afraid. So your servant woman said, Let me now speak to the king. Perhaps the king will perform the word of his maidservant. For the king will listen and deliver his maidservant from the hand of the man who would destroy both me and my son from the inheritance of God. Then your servant woman said, Please let the word of my lord the king be a resting place. For as the angel of God, so is my lord the king to listen with discernment through the good and evil. And may Yahweh your God be with you. Then the king answered and said to the woman, Please do not hide anything from me that I am about to ask you. And the woman said, Let my lord the king please speak. So the king said, Is the hand of Joab with you in all this? And the woman answered and said, As your soul lives, my lord the king, no one can turn to the right or to the left from anything that my lord the king has spoken. Indeed, it was your servant Joab who commanded me, and it was he who put all these words in the mouth of your servant woman. In order to change the appearance of things, your servant Joab has done this thing. But my Lord is wise, like the wisdom of the angel of God, to know all that is in the earth. Then the king said to Joab, Behold, now I have done this thing. Go therefore, bring back the young man Absalom. And Joab fell on his face to the ground, prostrated himself, and blessed the king. Then Joab said, Today your servant knows that I have found favor in your sight, O my lord the king, in that the king has performed the word of his servant. So Joab arose and went to Geshur and brought Absalom to Jerusalem. However, the king said, Let him turn to his own house and let him not see my face. So Absalom turned to his own house and did not see the king's face. Now in all Israel was no one as handsome as Absalom, so highly praised, from the sole of his foot to the top of his head. There was no defect in him. Excuse me. When he shaved the hair of his head, and it was at the end of every year that he shaved it, for it was heavy on him, so he shaved it. He weighed the hair of his head at 200 shekels by the king's weight. And to Absalom there were born 3 sons, and 1 daughter whose name was Tamar. She was a woman of beautiful appearance. Now Absalom lived 2 full years in Jerusalem, and did not see the king's face. Then Absalom sent for Joab to send him to the king, but he was not willing to come to him. So he sent again a second time, but he was not willing to come. Therefore he said to his servants, See, Joab's portion of land is next to mine, and he has barley there. Go and set it on fire. So Absalom's servants set the portion of land on fire. Then Joab arose, came to Absalom at his house, and said to him, Why have your servants set my portion of land on fire? And Absalom answered Joab, Behold, I sent for you, saying, Come here, that I may send you to the king to say, Why have I come from Geshur? it would be better for me still to be there. So now let me see the king's face, and if there is iniquity in me, let him put me to death. So Joab came to the king and told him, and he called for Absalom. Thus he came to the king and prostrated himself on his face to the ground before the king, and the king kissed Absalom. And that was 2 Samuel chapter 14, which is where I am going to leave off at tonight. Thank you all for being here. God bless you, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.